On tonight's episode of the Gamecasters, we have a special guest with us here. We talk about a bunch of games we've been playing recently, including the new hotness Tapestry. We do our top 5 games of the last 3 years, and we play a new game for you. Stay tuned. Well, hello there, gamers. We're back with a very special episode 25. My name is Ryan.
And I'm Natalie.
And we have...
Ooh, Jeff.
Yeah, Mad Board Gamers here with us.
Ooh, thanks for having me.
That. Ooh, nice. So we have talked about Jeff, Mad Board Gamer, Instagram World, 150,000 times on this podcast. I feel like sometimes I'm talking to him more than I'm talking to you, and I apologize to you about that. Like, Jeff, me and Jeff did this, and Jeff came over and did this, and I played this with Jeff. And so now we decided, we got to set up a new setup, and we can finally accommodate 3 microphones.
3 microphones.
We can actually go up to 6, I think it is. So basically, I got a hold of Gabi from Board Game Snobs. They do a podcast, and he was looking for a different way to do his show. And we just previously just used USB mics, plugged them right into the computer. We didn't have a mixer or anything, and there's a program called Voice Meter. Yeah, Voice Meter that I would run the audio through, and then it goes right into Audacity, which is the editing software we use. And it's super simple, but the problem with it is you can only have 2 microphones at one time. And so he was like asking what other people's setups were, and I told him what we did, but then I was like, what do you do? And he's like, well, the only reason I don't like mine is because there's tons of cords and wires everywhere. And so I'm now using the exact thing that he uses. So it's this mixer board. It's a Yamaha MG10XU for anybody out there looking to start a podcast, but don't compete with me. Board Games is mine. Start your own weird podcast. But anyway, we use this mixer, and it's XLR. We used USB mics before. Now we're using XLR, which is just a different connector to get to the microphone. And we can have, I think, up to 6.
Ooh,
I think.
Moving on up. So
we're testing it out today with our 3rd, because we only have 3 microphones. We're not made of money. And so we wanted Jeff to come over and jump in here with us, which he has. So welcome,
Thanks.
Jeff. How's it going?
It's going. Does it give you a new program?
No,
edit,
so
or it's through the same editing software.
Yeah, literally. I use the same editing software. It just plugs USB into the computer, and then I don't have to use that voice meter, phantom mixing program I use. It's just this thing does all that for me, and I can edit levels on the fly, twisting knobs and look like I'm some sound engineer at Metallica's concert.
Yeah, that's how it would be really proud.
Yeah, they would. This is what I'm doing with that. Yeah. I spent thousands and thousands of dollars on an education to do a podcast in my basement. Yeah. So whatever. I mean, who cares? So what's been up with you, man?
What's been up with me? My wife and I had a baby.
Yeah.
Over the summer.
Yeah.
Jack Attack.
In July. His name's Jack. So
middle name Attack.
Yep. Jack
Attack
Madigan.
Madigan.
Yeah. Which has been life changing. It's been really hard adjusting to our new life and figuring all this stuff out. But Jack's been really awesome. He sleeps great. He eats. He does everything babies do. And he's just,
sleeping is key.
Yeah.
Because if he sleeps, you can sleep.
Right.
Yeah, that helps.
Everyone always tries to scare you and be like, you're never going to sleep again. And it's like, why do you have to say that crap?
Yeah.
Sometimes I will.
A child will
Just
sleep.
be like, maybe I like my kid.
Yeah. Right. So maybe I want to be awake with them in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Screw you. Maybe I'll make my wife do everything and I'll sleep. You don't know me.
Yeah. So that's been most of our life recently. And we had a getaway yesterday. We went to East Lansing for the Michigan State football game.
Jeff went to Michigan State, graduated.
Yep.
Go green.
Go white. And like
I did that right. Did I do that right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Someone says go green, you say go white.
I wasn't sure if I said go white first.
No.
Okay.
Say go green first.
If I say go white first, what do you say? You fucked up.
Yeah, you messed up, man. Go back.
Okay.
So you got to do that. It
go
was,
white, go back.
No, go back. Start over. So it was homecoming. And Devin doesn't love football, but she loves going and just being in the atmosphere. That was a blast to be able to do that. So we dropped Jack off at his Mimi's. So Devin's mom wants to call him Mimi.
Mimi, okay.
And so my mom's grandma. Her mom is Mimi.
Grandma and Mimi. Okay.
And
I'll bet your
Mimi-
mom feels like that's a victory. Like, I get grandma, the coveted grandma.
The grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we put Jack in his I Love Mimi shirt.
Oh.
And brought him over to Mimi's for the day. And he had a blast there. And we got kind of a little escape, which was fun.
You need to, right? Because
That's
he's
awesome.
just on you nonstop.
Yeah.
Jeff breastfeeds.
Yep, of course.
So he takes all those duties
Yeah.
over.
The nights are hard.
Yeah. And full of milk.
Yep.
He's a little sore.
Yeah. So that's cool. So apart from just being a dad and a husband, Jeff also plays board games. We have played board games together for a number of years now.
Yeah.
Been friends for many, many years before that. Well, when we would play video games.
When we graduated together.
Jeff's much younger than me, and I always just think that we're the
I
same
don't know about
age.
much. Not much, right?
Well, 4
Younger.
years maybe?
Something like that.
Yeah, so I guess you're right. That's
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things now. Back in high school,
Yeah.
4 years is like everything. So when I said that to
Yeah.
you,
Like
You know
14
what I
versus
mean?
18 is a big
And
It's
I
a
difference.
was still a
huge
junior
deal.
in high school or something. And
right. You're like, dude, I haven't
I haven't
graduated,
graduated yet, but
You graduated like 5
appreciate
years
it.
ago. I still haven't graduated. But either way, so now we just love to play board games together. Jeff's one of the, we talk about this all the time. Me, Natalie, Jeff, and Jeff's brother Dave are the Mind Crew.
Yes.
Yeah.
This game is
Epic.
good, but when the four of us play, it becomes orgasmic. No, it becomes amazing. Right? It's not quite on the level of orgasmic because Joe is watching us videotaping. So that makes things a little awkward. But it's just playing with Jeff and his brother Dave. Those guys, they're the two best people to play games with. No offense to anyone else out there who's listening who
you've
plays
ever
games
played
with
games
us. But for some reason, when we play the Mind together with these four, it's just,
It just clicks.
yeah, I don't know what it is.
I'm not sure what it is either, but it's awesome. It's I don't know if it's the looks that we give each other or just like the fun that we know we're all having at the same time.
Yeah.
I never have a feeling that any of us are not having fun.
Right.
With anything that we're playing, I always feel like we're having fun.
And
I
no one's
agree.
going
I
to
can
take it
tell.
too seriously or
Yeah.
get mad at someone for like
Well,
messing
and
up.
one other thing I think that all four of us are good at doing when we're playing together is there's not really one person who's ever not trying.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. We've played it
even
before.
if Dave
where-
doesn't really like the game, he's invested while we're playing it, and he'll try. And so your fun doesn't suffer because he's not having a good time.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people, it's hard for them to, I think, separate out, like, I hate this game. And so how do I not show that I hate it? By getting either grumpy or just not, like we'll play, I can't, I mean, I'm guilty of this. We'll play a game with me that I'm just like hating, and I'm just like sitting there like,
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
head's
I think
in my
we've all
hand.
done it.
Yeah.
When
For
partway
sure.
through, you know you're going to lose.
You look at the other
Yeah.
person, you're like, do you even want to continue? Because you look like you're having a terrible time.
Right. And you don't
it's making
realize,
me not have like the best time.
You don't realize what it's doing to everyone else's fun. And for some reason, when the four of us play games together, we don't do that. Like with King's Dilemma, that was
that was so
so-
fun.
that was
Awesome.
like, I'm getting chills right now. Do you see this? I have goosebumps.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was so.
It's true.
Well, I also have a fever.
Yeah, he's ill.
the chills.
I can't tell which one it is. But so I don't know where we were with this, but anyway, so we love playing games with you, Jeff, and I'm so happy you're on the show with us today. And I really wanted everybody to know about this awesome thing you do with your students. So Jeff's a high school teacher, and he teaches. What grades do you teach, Jeff?
Well, this is the first year I have some upperclassmen. I have 10th graders. They're not upperclassmen.
Yeah, because
But I
normally
usually
you
have
taught freshmen.
So I have all freshmen mostly. For the last 8 years, I've had all freshmen. This year, I had my first 10th grade class, but mostly all freshmen. I teach U.S. history.
Yeah, he does.
I do.
Yeah,
It's
don't mess with him there.
Yeah, I think sometimes me and my 9th graders are on the same like mental wavelength, so we get along really well.
So are you saying that they are super mature?
No, nope.
Other way
U.S.
around,
history sounds cool to teach because it'll never change,
It's
right?
yeah.
It's not like
It never
math.
changes.
You're like coming up with new theories or ways to teach it, kind of thing, or like I guess.
Yeah, is there Common Core
English
history?
probably changes.
No, there's no Common Core history. The history it changes how you teach it. It's
Yeah.
the students don't love history. It's
Yeah.
not something that they will gravitate to right away. So
Right.
you do have to change, like, why is progressivism relevant, and what like that makes it really difficult to want the kids to like do something. I want the kids to do something. I want them to learn.
Yeah.
And
Well, you could probably come up with a lot of cool project ideas as opposed to like math, where it's just math. Like there's
Yeah.
not very much you can really do
Well,
with that.
he's done, and I don't want to steal your thunder here if you were going to say this, but he does, I've seen these awesome things that he's done because he posts, on his Instagram, or he'll just send me pictures of things that he does in his classroom where they'll like, I don't know if it's the Revolutionary War or some war.
we do World War One.
Is it World War One?
The trench warfare.
Yeah, and so like he takes all the the chairs and the desks and he turns them like on their sides, on like two sides of the room, and then so like one half of the class is, if it's World War One, is playing,
it's a history test for you.
I know. I'm not gonna. One's Franz Ferdinand's.
There you go. Yeah.
Right, he's the one that got shot.
Yeah, Franz Ferdinand and his
right?
wife.
Okay, by Aaron Burr.
Nope.
Damn it. Okay. Well, somebody got killed.
Gavril Princip shot him. And,
Gabriel.
It was right on the tip of your tongue.
Damn it.
Yeah.
What was Aaron Burr?
He's from
Aaron
Hamilton.
Burr shot Hamilton.
Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah.
That's right. Anyway, he like
I only
does
know
this.
that from the
So he
musical.
like turns the desks and the
You ever
chairs
rap about
over,
it
and
you sing the song?
and it's super cool that you can't do that with math equations.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, throw a number.
Yes, true.
Yeah, it's great.
You're
And
gonna be the hypotenuse. Yay!
it's one thing the kids do remember. We always think, and I know you've talked about the Sturgeon's law of like 90% of everything is crap.
Yeah.
And I try to think of, all right, what 10% are they going to remember? What 10% can I teach them to have fun with?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
That is cool.
So apart from just teaching history, Jeff also tries to fold his favorite hobby into school, and that's board gaming. So why don't you tell us the history of this? So I know it started about 5 years ago, right? And before, you would do it, what, once a month? With just some kids in the library? Like, how did it start? How did you start this?
It started... So the first day of every class that I teach, so like day one of school, when freshmen walk into high school, they're always really nervous. So I usually spend the first day talking about myself. I always spend day one is about me, day two is about them, day three is about the class. So day one's about me, and I'll say, I have over this many board games. And I started with like, now you see how it escalates, but it's like, I have over 50 board games my first year teaching.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I have over 100. Now I'm
Now you're
bordering on
realizing
200.
you have a problem.
Yeah, I have a problem. So every time I have to change the number on the PowerPoint slide.
Yeah.
Every year.
Anyway. And
How do they react when you tell them that?
they don't know what to say.
They're
they
like,
don't know.
hashtag nerd.
Yeah, I do say
like,
I'm
what
like
do
in the
you
PowerPoint.
mean?
Like, I'm a nerd. Read comic books. I have, I love the Marvel movies. I love superheroes. I love board games. They don't know what the board games are. They've never heard of them.
Okay. So it's
when I
still
say-
it's still that niche of a hobby that your students don't even
Yeah, they don't.
Right.
because I wasn't sure if like the younger generations were starting to pick up on it quicker because it's growing.
Yeah,
But they're not.
I would say if they know games, first of all they all play Uno. Uno's like
Okay.
Uno's the big
could be the
game.
most popular teenage game.
Really? When we were in high
absolutely.
schoole, it was euchre.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Kids, they play Uno. They'll sit at lunch and play Uno. They make up rules for Uno and they just go crazy. They might have heard of code names or have played code names, maybe.
Wow.
Now with Target being
Yeah.
Target
selling
sells a lot of
games.
them.
Right.
they can see it. They know the boxes. They've seen some things. So I would introduce myself as having that, and my second or third year teaching, one of my former students, Andrea, who is not listening, she came up to me and she said she wanted to play some of these board games. And I told her I was always looking to like start a club.
So a student
Yeah.
approached you is how it started.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
so
cool.
She came to me and said, "Let's get this thing going. Like, let's start a club. Let's do this." And I was all for it. I was like, if I can come to work and then also play board games
Yep.
after school,
I win.
That would be
Ideal.
awesome.
Yeah,
it's
you win.
so cool. So I went on Amazon and I bought that cajon bag, and then I could
I do.
pack up
That thing is awesome.
my board games. And one Thursday after school, she told some of her friends, and I brought 5 or 6 games. They sat around and played Avalon for an hour and a half, and they were hooked.
Don't
From
they
there
still
on-
play that 5 years later?
Yeah.
The ones that just have not graduated.
Yeah,
The
right. They're just
failures
still there.
in 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
So
dropping
they-
out of
that
life to come
core
back
group,
and play.
That core group was like sophomores. So they were sophomores. They came to me. So I had them for 3 years, and
Okay.
for a while they played Avalon.
So are they the ones that
loved
did the board?
the meeple?
or the
Yeah,
meeple thing?
yeah. They got me that.
So it was the
that during
first. That was the
graduation.
first crew.
Yes.
And how many people did you have at the beginning? How many people would go?
6,
Okay.
7,
And it was like every
and
month?
they loved playing together. So yeah, I had to find games that were like
Oh, for
larger
larger
games.
groups.
Sure.
So there were Avalon games like Insider.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff was
Yeah.
really great with them. They loved that social deduction. They loved interacting with each other, and
So that was their gateway.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then it started to trickle in a little more. We kind of wanted to keep it a little secret. We were like, all right, keep it secret. We don't want
Keep it safe.
30 people showing up.
Yeah.
Let's keep it secret.
Right.
So we met in secret.
Secret board game
and
club.
yeah, we were like hiding.
Right.
Pulled some shades. No. But so we met then, and
Like the Dead Poet Society, but for board games.
as they got into their junior and senior year, I was like, this is not sustainable. I have no underclassmen. I have no
Yeah.
freshmen. I have no sophomores.
Yeah,
What do I do?
they're gonna leave
Sent them
and
out to
it's
recruit.
over.
Yeah, so I then would put like little words into some things during my classes about like, hey, I have board game club today if anybody's interested, and a couple freshmen then started to show up. It's like, okay, cool. So then I had kind of 2 groups where I had the seniors playing their own games and I had then the freshmen playing, Avalon. The seniors kind of graduated a little bit into some bigger games, and they started playing more of code names, and they love monikers too, that kind of thing. And they started to play real games, Quadropolis, and like get into it. Potion Explosion they liked. And
so now they're into like light to mid.
So they went up.
Wait.
Yeah. Then the freshmen are now playing Avalon. So I'm teaching them Avalon, and they're playing code names.
So do you have like a formula? Do you start the new people off, or do you just kind of now just let them discover on their own?
I let a lot of them discover. So as that one class left, this class that was freshmen are now seniors, and I'm now starting to get another group of freshmen and sophomores coming in.
Cool.
And we've really escalated. We're at about, I get anywhere between 10 and 25 people.
Wow.
That show
That's
up
awesome.
So now we do it weekly. It's every Friday after school.
Yep.
And it's a blast. The kids love showing up. I have one of the kids carry the big bag of games down, and they put it on there, and they open it up, and kids just like grab stuff.
Yeah.
And then they go to wherever they go to. And then 5 minutes later, they're like, "Can you explain this? Because we don't understand how to do the rules." And so that's great. So most of my time is spent, I kind of go group to group, and I explain the games or re-explain the games because they haven't played them in a while. And
so there's no like curriculum that you've developed for this. You just kind of bring it back,
show up and play some games,
and you're like, "Have at it, people."
Yeah.
And then if someone needs to fill in, you just fill in.
Yeah. So I'll fill in, or I'll have a game that I know is a little heavier that I'll play with them, so I know. Because I don't want to have to keep going back there to rules or whatever, and I just want to play a game with them.
If you're like on a losing streak in normal board game life, do you go to like board game club and just demolish these, crush these?
Because I was recently losing. I feel like every Monday I was just losing games. And I was like, cool, this is fun. Like I'm having fun, but I'm just losing at everything I play.
Believe me,
so then I went and recently played Wingspan with the kids and just crushed
demolish
them.
faces in your face, in your face.
That was great. And
how long do you play for?
We play from like 2:30 when school's over until 4:30. So 2 hours.
That's so cool. They got t-shirts and stuff. Jeff's wearing his board game club sweatshirt right now, which our good friend Ben made. Ben, the guy that did the Gamecasters logo.
Oh, right.
Shout out to Ben Derrick. I don't know, at Clone 13. I think is his Instagram name. I don't know if he. I've been telling him, I'm like, you got to get like an artwork Instagram or something going to this. So Ben, I know you listen to this. Make some sort of like market yourself, dude. Don't rely just on me.
Yeah, really is great.
But anyway, he's amazing. He's a great graphic designer. He does great things with art. And so he's done Jeff's Board Game Club shirts. He's done the Gamecasters logo. He does our Nerdfest shirts that we get every year. And he's fantastic. So again, shout out to at Clone 13. I hope that's
something like that.
I think so.
Sure?
But
yeah, no.
I thought it was like his name.
No. I don't think so.
Oh.
I think it's Clone. I'm not finding anything with that.
It's not that. I know it's not.
All right.
It's like B. Derrick or something.
Oh. But Derrick.
Ben Derrick, 13.
That's all it is. There's no clone at all.
No. There's a 13.
There's
Ben
a 13.
Derrick 13.
Okay, you're not a clone.
I think clone is maybe that's his Halo name.
I was like, I follow him and I've never seen clone
all right,
before.
so what was it then? At B. Derrick 13?
Ben Derrick 13.
At Ben Derrick 13. Underscores? Are there underscores?
No. Nope. We were way off. Samsonite.
Swami. Slappy.
Swami.
Here it is on the bag. Samsonite.
Samsonite.
Hey, anyway, hopefully anyone... Oh, gosh. So follow Ben Derrick 13, and you can see some of his artwork that he's done. Maybe. Anyway, that's awesome, dude. Board Game Club. How cool is that? It's got to feel great.
It does. I love watching students and young people do something like that. They've never... Exposing them to those games is such a cool feeling.
Yes, and it's better than exposing yourself in other ways because you can't as a teacher.
You can't. You really get arrested.
Which is why I'm not a teacher because that's what I like to do.
Really the goal of most teachers is not end up on the news.
Right.
I would end up on the news. I would end up on the news.
Yeah. 9 times out of 10, if you're on the news and you're a teacher, it's not good.
There's rarely a thing that says, look, this kid learned something today. Let's check out the teacher.
Yeah. It's not good.
It's not good.
Right. So Board Game Club, if you got in the news for that, that'd be cool. Yeah, that's got to be. So I kind of thought more that the younger kids knew more about the hobby. So I think that's, for me anyway, getting people into the hobby, watching their eyes light up the first time they play something like Avalon is what it's all about. Yes. So you get to do that like every year. That's
and I'm sure
cool.
The ones that love it continue to do it forever.
Oh yeah.
Probably introduce games to other people, and it's a way to
you're infecting
reach, a mass amount of people
everyone.
With the game.
I should get a commission.
Yeah, you should.
I should.
Yeah.
Yeah, the students that have graduated and have come back, they'll come back once or twice a year and they'll play games, and they always say they're adding to their collection. They're like, I got 10 games, I went to here and I bought this, and they're playing with their college friends or in their dorm.
That's awesome.
And those people in college have never played these games before either. it's
Well, I mean,
Yeah, you're infecting
as
the
we've
world.
talked about, it's like one of the most fun things to do with a group. You know, you're not like going to a bar or spending money. You're like actually interacting and having fun and having a quality time with, you know, your friends. And to be able to do that in college, you know, now they're living on their own and they're able to drink now, and playing games is probably like one of the best things to do.
Yeah, they're
during
probably
that time.
they're probably gonna have better relationships with their friends that maybe they wouldn't if they didn't have that. So that's awesome, dude. Good for you.
Yeah,
that's
nice.
off to Mad Board Gamer. By the way,
Just call him Jeff.
people don't. I wonder if people think you're mad, like angry.
Yeah, I'm not.
He's like the nicest guy ever.
Yes.
There's no anger.
related
It's
to his
actually-
last name.
Yeah, last name is Madigan.
So just so everybody knows, Mad Board Gamer is Happy Board Gamer. But Mad
Funny, I
sounds
didn't even think
cooler.
about that. Like, he's a mad board gamer.
Like angry.
Or maybe people
Angry
maybe
board gamer.
more thought it was like crazy, like the
yeah,
Mad
like-
Hatter.
Yeah.
Like I'm the Mad
Like a
Board
mad
Gamer.
scientist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Interesting.
I should go with that.
Yeah, well, that's
Maybe
what
I
we'll
should-
say. He's a little crazy,
Maybe I should get Ben to design me
but
a
he's super kind.
logo.
Yeah.
Clone
Yeah.
13. Wait, not clone.
Yeah,
13.
clone. No,
Wait, no.
Ben
Derek.
Derek underscore.
13. No underscore.
Some of the O's are
There's-
at
Yeah, there's
signs.
3. Yeah, I think there's 3 underscores.
He's
Yeah,
never going to get any
and-
business from us.
I think one of the,
Sorry,
the
Ben.
capital E is a 3.
Yeah.
It's like B3 Derek.
Like a license plate.
We're just gonna make it as like confusing
Yeah.
and impossible to get a hold of him as possible. So that's a little bit about Jeff. And now what we would like to do is maybe talk about some games we've been playing recently, because we have been playing some games recently.
Games.
I want to start off with our guest, Jeff. What cool games have you played that you'd like to talk about? Any sweet ones you've been playing over the last couple weeks?
Yeah, we play, you guys know this, but we play games on Monday nights. We
Yep.
go to our friend Bill's.
Bill.
And since, yeah,
Bill Nye, the
it would be
science
sweet if it was a science guy, but Bill's cool too.
He could be a science guy.
And he could be.
Yeah.
He makes signs.
He's got the-
Is that science? No.
Bill
He
the
makes
signs guy.
signs.
Yeah, he makes like
Yeah.
so he's an electrical engineer. So he makes like the signs with the digital displays like for people.
That's cool.
Have you ever been to Five Below?
Yes.
There's a Five Below sign it'll show like the number of the register, and then it'll say next customer.
Oh,
It'll pop
okay,
up there.
yeah.
He-
They
Bill
have
was
that at, like,
next to the
TJ
guy
Maxx.
that designed that
yeah.
sign.
He knows the guy.
He also
Yeah.
designed was it Laurel Manor or Burton Manor?
Yeah, one of the manors.
One of the
I don't know.
manors.
Oh, yeah. On
He-
the freeway, they have like a big
Yep,
digital
that's Bill.
sign.
Bill Nye, the signs guy.
Yeah.
The signs
All right, that's
guy.
way better.
The signs guy.
Bill. So that's cool.
Yeah,
All
so
right,
we go to his house on Mondays, and it's anywhere between 3 to 5 of us, depending on if Joe,
busy.
his wife Jen plays, or if Christy plays. And
Oh, I forgot Jen comes.
well,
That's
yeah,
cool.
sometimes.
That's
Yep.
cool.
She's actually in our Betrayal Legacy group.
Oh, she is.
yeah.
I feel like she would love that game.
I
Does
think
she like
is.
it?
Yeah,
I feel like where Christy hates being the betrayer, I feel like Jen would have a good time with it.
I think she does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has she been the betrayer?
Well,
Not yet.
I don't know.
Or does it not work
We've
that
only
way?
done- no, it does. I don't think so. I think Dave was it. The first mission's different. The first chapter's different. I don't want to like spoil anything.
Yeah.
But then the second one, I think Dave was the betrayer. But still, the arguing is always fun.
Yeah.
Using people, especially in the first
that's
one.
the best. Right. Okay, I'm
And-
sorry. So go ahead.
Yeah, so every week we rotate who picks, which is great because it used to be a while ago, Bill had the majority of the game. So it would be like Bill would pick, and then we kind of picked like a secondary game or whatever. But we've amassed such a grand collection
Yeah, right.
between
Everybody has
all
games.
of us that we rotate. And it was Dave's pick last Monday, and we played Dead of Winter.
Ooh, zombies. You haven't played that, have you, Natalie?
Dead of Winter?
We don't have it.
No, I don't think
we
so.
don't have it. It's a cool game.
It's-
Plaid Hat.
Yeah, it's by far, it's my favorite zombie themed game for
Yeah.
sure. I like it way better than Zombicide. I know people love Zombicide, but
Yeah.
I think Dead of Winter is just so much more thematic, and I feel like there's so much more to the game than just trying to like just kill zombies like
Well,
in Zombicide.
it also has this really cool element, the crossroad. Can you talk about the crossroads thing?
So everybody starts. So you're survivors in the zombie apocalypse, and everybody starts with 2 survivors. You get some dice, and the person to your right draws a crossroad card, and the crossroad card says a condition on it. So it'll say something like, a survivor moves to the police station, or a survivor searches, or this person's in play. And if it happens, you stop immediately. You say crossroads. Yeah, I think you have to say crossroads, but we do it anyway. Crossroads. We're like, crossroads. And we
See
say,
you at the crossroads.
is that a
You won't be lonely.
crossroad? Is that the Britney Spears?
Oh, I was saying Bone
No,
Thugs.
Bone
No,
Thugs.
what's the what's the
Britney
crossroads?
Spears
the
has
movie?
a movie called
Called Crossroads,
Crossroads.
right?
Crossroads.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, it was not her song.
Yeah.
But
No.
You're right. It was
Does
a
she have
movie.
a
Yeah.
song called? No, she didn't. Make the song?
Not that I know of.
She might sing in
I know
movie.
the Bone Thugs song, though.
Yep.
Yeah. Who else is in Crossroads?
You won't be
Justin
lonely.
Guarini in that one?
Oh.
No, that's a Kelly Clarkson and Justin Guarini.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
right,
what's
right.
that movie?
I don't remember.
From Justin to Kelly.
From Justin Kelly, exactly what it's called.
I don't know. I just
random note,
remember
did
there
you
was like 3 of them. Britney Spears and like 2 other girls were like her friends. I don't remember who they were though.
And they came to a crossroad in their life, probably.
That one, didn't that win the Academy Award?
I think
For
probably.
shittiest movie of the
Yeah,
year?
I think so. The Razzle.
They give that out, don't they? Yeah, the Razzie.
Yeah, Razzie.
Razzie.
Razzmatazz. You were saying side note?
Yeah, Justin Guarini, did you know
2-hour
he's...
side note.
You know, he finished second in
Yep.
that American Idol. You know
Yep.
he's Little Sweet in the Dr. Pepper commercials?
Yes. Yes.
In the what?
The little sweet guy that
He's
talks
like,
with, he's like,
"Little
sweet.
And he, like, comes out.
Pepper.
Is that on TV?
You
Yeah.
watch TV,
He's like,
Natalie.
he's
Don't-
like,
Well,
he's like
I
this
haven't
little
had
thing.
cable in like 3
Yes,
years.
but this has been going on
Really?
for like years and years and years.
I don't know.
She's very young. You guys.
Okay, yeah.
I'm older than Jeff.
Come on. I'm a little bit...
Anyway, there's doctor. It's like is it Diet Dr Pepper? The commercial.
I don't know if
Regular.
it's
It's just this little munchkin guy, and he just
Yeah.
comes out of nowhere, and like people are like, "Oh, my mouth is dry," and then he comes in and he's like, "I'm waiting for Jeff to."
Little Sweet.
Yeah.
Like, slides in.
Yeah.
Anyway, he went from being second place on American Idol
To Little Sweet.
to Little Sweet. On
Guy
Dr.
needs
Pepper.
money.
Wow.
I'm sure there's money in that Dr Pepper money.
Yeah.
Wait, did I say? Is that a weird sentence I just said?
Yeah,
No,
there's
Dr.
money in
Pepper
Dr.
money.
Yeah. There's always money in the banana.
That's commercial
There's always
money.
money in the banana stand. How much more literal can I be?
So yeah, okay. So the crossroads. So yeah, he was
Yeah,
saying
so-
there's a
You,
condition.
you say crossroads.
Yeah, so you say the crossroads, the conditions on there, and then it really gives you a dilemma, like a moral dilemma, King's Dilemma. But it gives you a dilemma about what to do. So
Yeah.
maybe
What to do.
all of a sudden you come across a helicopter that's crashed and there's someone in there. Do you save? Yeah.
You're saying the F word a lot.
Am I?
F word.
Yeah, that's
Am I
the
really?
second time.
Oh, geez, we're not gonna get on the dice tower if I keep doing that. All right, I'll cut that out.
Yeah,
I'll
cut
cut
it
that
out.
shit out.
Yeah. And so the helicopter crashes, and do you go save the person? And if you save the person, you get another survivor in your group, but you have to lose some food.
Okay.
Or you just leave the person, and you like take the stuff off of her, and you like get things or supplies for it.
Right.
So you make these moral
Kind of
choices
like Walking
through
Dead
the thing.
dilemmas.
Yes,
Exactly. This
and
is
the
what
game
Walking
is kind of
Dead-
like that because
Yeah.
the zombies, while dangerous, are not like. It's like in a game like Zombicide or Last Night on Earth or Run, Fight, or Die, it's all about the zombies attacking you and you're just either killing them as fast as you can or running from them. This game is not quite
More like
like that.
surviving
Yeah,
the
it's-
zombie apocalypse.
Yeah,
Not-
because you can die from the zombies. They'll
Yeah.
kill you,
Sure.
and that stuff happens. But they're
more
more
to
they're
it.
more just like a present danger in the background, and you're like going to different locations and trying to look through stuff and get stuff real quick to help the group out before they swarm you over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like they're always there,
Yeah.
but they're not like it's not super imminent all the time that they're just gonna destroy
Right.
you.
Okay.
And you don't have to kill all the zombies before the end of the game. There's conditions. There's a main objective on the board that you have to complete before the end of the game. You also have like your own personal
cooperative?
objectives. Yes, it's semi-cooperative. So there's an
Overall winner.
overall you can win. You
you're
can win
all
the game.
working
And
together
I
to
can also
survive.
win my secret objective and win. So if I don't get my own secret objective, I lose. But there's
Okay.
also could be a betrayer in the group.
Oh,
Which is
okay.
what happened on Monday, and Bill was the betrayer and
Oh boy.
destroyed us.
Oh, of course he did.
But you can during the game you can like exile that person and vote them out, and then
And
play
everybody,
just
there's also ways everybody can lose. Like if this
Yeah.
happens, everybody loses.
Everybody
There's
loses.
this track. What's the track called? That the thing
it's like morale.
morale.
Is the track.
If the morale track ever gets to 0,
Right.
everyone dies.
Okay.
And that happens when some of your survivors die, when you can't feed your survivors. So at the end of
Okay.
every round, you have to be able to feed. There's also an objective for everybody to complete at the end of the round where you're trying to put fuel in a pile, you're trying to do something or gather gear. And yeah, really the zombies are just kind of in the background and you have to fight them off.
Are there any games where you're the zombie?
I think
Zombies don't have brains.
Well, because when you just said like at the end of the round you have to feed. What if you were a zombie and you had to feed on a person by the end of the
What's
round?
that dice rolling zombie game? Aren't you eating brains?
Oh yeah, Zombie the Dice game, Zombie Dice. I think it's called Zombie Dice
Dice.
from
I think
Justin to Kelly.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
did I have
What's
that?
Justin and Kelly?
Can I get that for free?
I think we do have it upstairs.
yeah. When
Zombies. It's got brains on them.
From
Maybe
the-
you're. I don't know.
zombie
I don't know
in
the
that?
theme, but
But yeah,
seems-
there's not like a. I don't know. If
I'm
there's a mini game
surprised
with
that
it.
there wouldn't be a zombie themed
Yeah.
game where you play the zombies trying to kill the
Right.
humans.
Yeah, why
Dead
not?
of Winter sounds cool.
It is cool.
Very
A
cool.
lot. Do you like it a lot?
I like it a lot. It's very thematic. And playing with
Sounds
the
like
people,
it.
playing with our group would be awesome because you're involved. You're getting into
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And you're making the decisions based on what's best for the group are also.
So the decisions that you make alone, but they affect the whole group.
Yeah, the crossroads.
It is kind of like King's Dilemma in that way, where you have to kind of balance. Okay, I don't want the morale track to go to 0, and if I do this thing that's only good for my secret objective, it's going to reduce the morale track, and so that's going to make me look like I'm betraying the group. But really, I'm just doing this because I have to win. But if I don't do that, then my card to win the game isn't going to work out so well. But our morale will be up, so then we won't lose. Maybe I can try again the next time. So you're constantly balancing these things over and over again, while at the same time, when those crossroads cards come out, because they don't trigger every time. Someone reads one every turn, but they don't always trigger, because it'll be like if you're at the police station or something, then it triggers, and it's like, oh, this person's at the police station, so now the card is red. You know, more times than not, I would say it does nothing.
Gotcha.
But that's what I think makes the game super fun, because you're always kind of like, crossroads.
Yeah.
Is it gonna? Oh,
waiting.
not this time. And then it's like the tension again happens, and it's nothing.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's a cool game.
It's a blast. I really enjoy it, and I would play this. Bill, being the betrayer, was what he was doing is he was just trying to get as many survivors in the game as possible, which makes us have to use more food, which also makes he has a ton of dice. Every survivor, you get another dice, which means you get another action that round, and he was just trying to lower morale as much as possible, and we didn't figure it out in time. So every time he was searching piles, he would take all the survivors out and be like, "Oh no, I got another survivor," and then it would just amass these.
Yeah.
But it's really fun. It's thematic. It's worth playing if you haven't played it.
That sounds fun.
And Broken Token has an awesome insert.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We should play it at Nerdfest.
Got that cool. What has it got? Isn't there like a knife in there for the first player?
Oh yeah, the first player knife.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's cool. How about you, Natalie? What you want to talk about? A game or two? Which one? No. We'll do that last.
Oh, okay.
Why don't you go over the game we played last?
Okay, the last game we played was Saikatsu, which is a very pretty game with birds on it and flowers.
Yep. Yes, it is.
It's a 2 to 3 player game.
Yeah, and that's pretty weird.
Yeah.
There's not too many games that play three max.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Right. Are you expecting me to explain it?
Yep.
You know the drill.
Let's do it. You want me to do it?
I can try.
It's not that tough.
You have this board, just like every board game, you know.
Okay, keep going.
It has these tiles that have birds on them.
Okay, bird tiles.
This is why I told
Jeff, what do we got so far, man?
We got it has a board and bird tiles. Yep.
the birds are circled in flowers.
Okay.
Okay, keep going. You're gonna power through this.
Yeah, you got this.
Yep, this is you.
Okay, so the goal of the game is trying to place tiles next to the same birds.
That's the goal of the game.
No, it's trying to get points.
Hey.
But the 2 ways to get points is to place tiles next to similar birds, and you get points in the game. And at the same time, you're trying to match flowers in the row assigned to you. And at the end of the game, that gives you points.
Well,
and that's about all I'm going to say.
Okay. Jeff, let's see. What do we got, Jeff?
We have a board.
Okay.
There's bird tiles.
Oh.
The bird tiles are surrounded with flowers.
Okay.
And the goal is to put birds next to matching birds. That will get you points.
I mean, that's pretty accurate.
Beautiful. That's the whole game?
It's good.
Okay, this game, if anyone's played a game like Photosynthesis, this game is all about perspective. So there's the board is divided into 3 different sections, okay? And you can play 2 players or 3 players. And each player sits behind one of their sections. I know, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Sits behind one of their sections, and then their perspective is from where they're looking straight on, okay? So my perspective is different than Jeff's, who's sitting to my right, different than Natalie's, who's sitting to his right. We all have different perspectives on the same board. And so there's 2 ways to score points. You're either scoring points in the game by putting birds that are the same type of bird next to each other, and so you score immediate points there, or you're scoring points at the end of the game based on your perspective on the colors of the flowers that Natalie talked about that surround those birds. So there's 1, 2, 3, and there's 5 rows, I think, on this board. And each row is made up of a number of circles, and the bird tiles are circular, and they're bakelite, so they're super. They're like super nice
awesome.
tiles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
production quality is great.
Oh yeah, just handling those feels cool. And so you basically just put a bird out onto the board, and you're kind of balancing a decision here. Okay, so I see there's 3 cardinals right next to each other, and if I have a cardinal tile, and so if I place this, I could get 4 points because you get 1 point for the tile you place, and 1 point for every adjacent bird that's the same type next to it. But this has a flower. If I put it here, this is going to give Natalie 3 flowers in a row from her perspective. And from my perspective, it's only that one because I don't have Natalie's row. So it's like, okay, do I get these 4 points right now? That puts me up 3 points ahead of Jeff and Natalie. But at the end of the game, that's going to give Natalie an extra like 4 points, right? And it's not going to give me as many. Or I could put this in a spot that gives me my 3rd flower because this one will say has purple flowers. And I put it in the row that I already have 2 purple flowers in. So at the end of the game, I'm going to score, 6 or 8 points for these. But I'm only scoring 1 point now. And so you got to balance that constantly. But it sounds stressful. It's not, right? It's like a walk in the park.
Yeah.
This game is so leisurely.
And like you said, you can't neglect one of those.
Right.
You can't just go for flowers and expect to win the game, or you can't just do the best thing with birds and expect to win.
I've tried the flower strategy, like not caring where I put the birds and just going for flowers. You'll lose.
Yeah, you start so far back.
Yep.
The end game scoring.
Yep.
That's true. Because the whole in game, we were like right next to each other. It was just like a constant like battle. And then at the end, you took off because I think my problem was I wasn't really paying attention to what I was giving you. And I'm sure you were.
Oh, yeah. You were giving it to me. For sure.
This game, we also play with Ryan's kids. His middle daughter, Lexi, loves playing it. We kind of make up our own rules with her, and we play it all the time.
Oh, is this where do you think I should put
and every
game?
time she pulls out a tile, she makes me, and she also says, "Where do you think I should put it?" before she places it.
Yeah, like every time. So it's a really cool leisurely game. Jeff and I discovered this at Gen Con 2016,
Whatever 50 was, right? So
yeah, so I think 2017.
Yes.
I think it was 2017 we found this. And it was very high on both of our... So what we do is every year, Jeff and I will do a Gen Con list where we take the list that Eric Martin puts out on Board Game Geek, and we just kind of filter through it and just decide what we want. We put it on an Excel sheet. We organize it by booth number, board game, price, designer, notes of what we want, and we like put it all. Okay, got 50 games. All right, let's just print it off, and then we go and we walk around. We're holding it like, oh, I'm gonna go to booth 235. Okay, I'll see you later. And I'm like, Jeff, where are you guys going? And he's like 1625, and I'm like, oh, 1635, and it's just wrong. And so, so this was like, I don't know, it was in there, but like the top 5, I think, for both of us.
Yeah, which it wasn't on, because you can sort that list by hotness. People can give it like thumbs, and you can look at the Eric Martin's list by what's hot.
Yeah.
And it wasn't up there. It wasn't in the top in the first few pages, so it was really surprising that it was one of both of our top games.
Yeah, we both were like all over this, and then we got it, and we're like, this is amazing. And it's, I mean, I feel like it kind of gets some love now, but it's not. It doesn't get the buzz it deserves.
No, it deserves more.
It's a really good game.
Clever. And doesn't your wife Devin like it a lot?
She does
too?
like it.
That's cool.
That's the thing. So it's cool for kids. It's good for couples. It's like a really cool game. The problem that has, I guess, is it only plays either 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you have a game, you're not going to bring this to game night unless you have offshoot groups, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just not going to get played. But it's a very good couples game. I think that's probably what it's best for. Because I primarily play it 2-player.
And it goes in 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's pretty short.
If that. Yeah, basically all you do is you just play a tile and then pull a tile. That's your entire turn and count points
until they're all gone, and then you count points.
Yep.
Again.
So it's super simple. So that's Saikatsu. That's IDW, I think.
IDW.
Yeah, okay. I don't know who designs it, but whatever. Great job, IDW designer for Saikatsu. So I will talk about another game we played before we played Saikatsu, and we got it from Gen Con this year, and it's called Realm of Sand. Jeff, would you mind grabbing the box? Who the heck makes this game? Deepwater Games.
What does Deepwater make?
Jihua Wei designed it. And
that sounded, I don't know if that's right, but that sounded really good.
It?
Yeah, it really did.
Oh, thank you. And then, but listen to the art. Art is by Mei Shirley. Mei Shirley Chan.
Oh, that's her first name?
Oh.
Yeah, her first name is Mei Shirley.
I thought it was Mei Shirley.
Like Mei Shirley?
I thought
Mei,
it was like
Shirley Chan. No, it's Mei Shirley. Maybe that is her name and they got it wrong. What'd you say, Mei Shirley?
Yeah.
Okay. And they just wrote Mei Shirley, but Mei Shirley Chan. It says Emperor S4. I don't know what that means.
I'm not sure.
What is that? Is that a design? Is that a publisher?
Obviously, small publisher.
Deepwater Games seems like the company that created this game. Maybe Emperor S4 is the distributor. I don't know. Anyway, it's a very, very interesting game. I love polyominoes, as anyone who's listened to this podcast has heard me drone on about forever. And this one is a combination of two games that we love in this house. And one of them is Patchwork, and the other one is Splendor.
Yep.
It's almost exactly those two games together.
It really is.
So basically, you have cards in 3 stacks, like Splendor. You put out 4 cards in each deck, so they're in rows, like Splendor. And then you have these polyomino tiles that you put around the cards, like Patchwork. You then have a board that those polyomino tiles go onto, like Patchwork. You pick tiles in front of this one start piece, like Patchwork, right? And then you score and collect cards in the middle of the table when you complete them with the resources you collect, like Splendor.
Right, and doesn't Splendor also end when you have so many gems or so many?
Yeah, so this game ends when when one person has the time. Well, it's when one person has an hourglass of 10.
Yeah,
10 hourglasses.
Totals 10.
So there's like time on cards and points. So each card will usually have an hourglass number, which is the time it takes, and then a point number.
Like Patchwork, buttons and...
Yeah, exactly,
Okay.
like Patchwork.
Yeah.
So when you take a card, you play it, you'll score the points for it at the end of the game, and then it'll have a certain amount of hourglass numbers, I suppose. And so the cool thing is, when you're taking the tiles from the Patchwork circle, or rather, I'm sorry, when you're playing one of those tiles to your board, so the tiles they're all made up of black, green, and red.
Yeah.
All the tiles are made up of squares of those 3 colors. And so and they're all 3 squares. They're either 3 long or an L.
Okay.
And there's a big pile of those same colored tokens of just the squares right in a pile. And so when you put them on the board, you replace the tile you just put on the board with the same colored squares of it. So if I play a 3 length tile that's red, green, green, I put that tile down, but I immediately take that tile off and replace it with
individual
red, green, green of the individual tiles. And the reason for that is because when you take another tile, you can put another tile you take over top of one of those squares, and then that square just gets replaced with the new one.
Does it have to match that color that was already there?
Nope.
Okay, so you could change the layout.
Yeah, you can change the layout.
So the polyomino piece never stays on your board. It goes back into the pile, basically at the end of the pile.
Yep. Yeah, the polyomino piece that you're actually playing on the board, that comes off.
Oh, so that's the timer for the game. So once all those are... Okay.
It goes... No, so the timer for the game is on the cards. They have an hourglass.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so the thing just goes round and round, and it's always the same tiles. They end up becoming in different configurations as you go through. And it's really interesting. The part that I found challenging with it was the cards themselves. They have a pattern that you have to try to make. So each card will have a pattern, and then you have to make that pattern with those tiles on your board. But the pattern is like diagonal, it's
almost like 3D
slanted.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard to conceptualize.
Yeah,
kind of like I wish it was just top down.
Well, because it's a different perspective than what you're looking at on your board. It feels like
it can
slightly.
be. Well, because you can shift it around. So I really did like the game. I thought it was really fun. It was a really cool, fresh take on, it didn't just feel like, okay, this is just Splendor and Patchwork. Why wouldn't I just play one of those? It definitely feels like its own thing.
It does.
It's just clearly those two games.
Yeah, it's a lot of similarities.
What's the theme? Are you building something in the desert? What's the
you're creating.
Good question.
The realm is in peril, Jeff.
Of course.
Time bends and reality shifts uncontrollably in the physical world, and it's up to you as a royal magician to help the queen rebuild the realm of sand. Acquire different glyphs on polyominoes. Oh, they said the name on the box. Then strategically place the tiles on your unique player board to construct buildings and unlock new magical powers. No, there's no freaking theme. It's, I mean, you just look.
Yeah.
So here's what a card looks like.
And then the cards that you have the build, the design that you need
you're
to draw.
technically building this building with this pattern on this board. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then, so once you build the building, all the tiles go back into the main pile. You get this, and then you just flip a new card and go on. Now, there's different player powers that each person has.
There's a little bit more to it.
But that's essentially the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's
player
fun.
Powers would be cool. That's cool. That's a good way to add something.
Yeah. It
there's
ups
also
the complexity
those little circles you can use instead of tiles you can put these little circles on that you keep to complete a building. That's like a second action you can take.
Yep.
So there's that.
Yep. Yeah, there's a couple different things. I mean, it's not going to reinvent any wheels here. It's not like this isn't a game I think you should just go rush out and buy. But if you get a chance to play it, I think that you would enjoy it, maybe surprisingly, because this game has gotten zero buzz. I don't see anybody talking about this ever. I don't know if it's
really?
not. It might not be out yet, maybe, because we got it at Gen Con.
Yeah.
I pre-ordered it, so I'm not sure if it's out yet. But nobody talks about this game. It's and I think it's a fun little game.
Like, how much did you enjoy it? Like, what would you rate it?
I'd probably rate it. It was a little better than Good Night Great, so I think I would give it a 7.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long did it take?
Well, we didn't totally finish.
Okay.
Natalie wasn't having the best time.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to give it another try, but I was really struggling with the spatial aspect of it, like picturing in my head like what polyomino pieces I should use to get the colors I need, the pattern I need, and then I'd figure out that I did it wrong, and then it'd take me like 2 more turns to even complete one, while Ryan is completing one on every single turn, and it took me like 4 turns to just get one in place. And so I was kind of like, this is kind of a bummer. And so we did stop playing it, but
I was running away with it, and it was just kind of,
I was just like, why can't I picture it? I was like, oh, I got it. And the next turn I got this. And then I did it, and I was like, uh-oh, I messed that up.
I'm not a great spatial thinker either. I would be the same. That would frustrate me, especially if it didn't look, like you said, the card was
That's
shifted.
the hardest
very
part.
strange about why that
Well, because
decision was
how it
made.
looks on your player board, and then when you look at the card that you're trying to complete, it's not drawn in the same way.
Yeah, because on your
Hey, why don't you
board,
just make
it's
the
like
map?
top
it's like
down.
flat,
Right.
But
On the card, it's
like-
slanted.
right?
Diagonally.
Was it just like to be artsy? Like, was it an art?
Yeah, it was so they could draw the building on top.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, I'll show you a
kinda
card.
see
It's
it
like,
on
And it's
the
nothing
box.
against the game. It's not really how my brain works. I mean, that's how I am in real life. Like anything with like decorating a room or painting a room is like the most stressful thing for me, because I cannot picture anything. I cannot picture furniture unless it's actually there. So that's just a rough thing that I have.
Well, so the box says 30 to 60 minutes. That is very accurate. It would probably take about a half hour to an hour.
Yeah, we probably played like half a game, and it was probably
about 20 minutes we played, I would say, of that game. And
and I had one card, and he had like 4 or 5 cards.
So if Realm of Sand, Patchwork, and Splendor are sitting on a shelf, and you have 30 minutes, what game are you grabbing?
Ooh.
Well, I don't think you
30
could play
minutes.
this in 30 minutes.
Okay, so if
I
you
think
could,
Splendor then, because I don't know if I could play Patchwork in 30 minutes.
all right, what about
Oh, really?
45 minutes?
45, basically,
What about if you
time
could
was
pick any
no
of the
option?
time was no option? If you pick any of those 3 games, what one would you grab?
Oh, shit. I think Patchwork.
I think Patchwork too.
I've never played Realm of Sand, but Patchwork is great.
Yeah.
This does not fire or kill either of those 2 games. However, I
No,
do
it doesn't
think it
replace
can
it.
exist in the same collection, because it does. And I think be okay.
The player
Yeah.
power seems cool. That seems like something
cool.
that would.
Yeah, it kind of
the game
it helps
a
it a little bit. I'm not sure how balanced they are. I mean, I'm sure they're
How many
decently
different
balanced.
ones are there?
6 or 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's enough to get you going. It plays up to 4. Okay, so that's Realm of Sand. Jeff, you have anything else over there?
I could talk about Era.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't
Ooh,
played that yet,
yo.
but want to.
So this is Roll Through the Ages has been updated,
Exactly. It should be called Build Through the Ages.
which was itself a dice game of Through the Ages.
Yep.
Oh, really?
It's Through the Ages, Roll Through the Ages, and now
Now
Era.
it's Era.
Essentially the same game. So it's Era Medieval Age.
Yeah.
Which comes in a huge box, slightly smaller than Cloudspire, which I'm currently looking at. But it's a big box, and I remember it was on all of our Gen Con lists.
Yep.
And what deterred me initially was the price point. I think it's a $70 game, and it was there's a border at which I think it's like $60 that I start to contemplate how much I spend on a board
and it's
game.
essentially a roll and write.
It is.
You know, so it's hard to justify $70 on what ultimately is going to be a very light experience.
Yeah,
For what
and-
I thought, anyway.
Yeah, and you're constructing your city, so you have, instead of a piece of paper with a grid on it, you have a pegboard, and you're simultaneously rolling dice, and you can Yahtzee style, so you roll it 3 times, and those dice really give you resources to build actual physical buildings on your pegboard. So you roll and you get wood, stone, then 2 other things, and you turn those in to build these numerous buildings, and you take the building, you stick it on your pegboard wherever you want. And that building can give you points at the end of the game. It can give you another dice. It can give you some power. And you're trying to construct the most prosperous city. The part that's hard for me is there's some take that in the game.
Oh.
which I don't know if Roll Through the Ages has.
I don't remember any Take That in Roll Through the Ages.
There's skulls on some of the dice, and you roll the skull. If you roll a skull, that locks it, so you have to keep that dice.
Okay.
So you keep that one.
That was
and the skulls. If you have only 1 or 2 skulls, it hurts your own city, so you'll have to like burn down a building, or so you're like taking that to yourself, or you lose a resource. But if you get more skulls, so if you have I think 4 or 5 skulls, you're affecting everybody else that's playing. So you would scorch someone else's land, and you'd have to put this big square on your board, and you couldn't build anything there. Or you would start some disease at someone else's land, and they would have to kill buildings if they didn't have a walled-in area or a hospital on their board. So really, you can have lots of grand plans, and then Ryan rolls 4 skulls, and now exactly where I was going to put this building is now scorched, which stinks and can be really discouraging, right, when you're thinking about something. Or if you can't put the scorched land down, you have to get rid of a building to put that down.
Has that happened?
Yeah. So the first time we played, I played with just Joe and Dave, my brothers, and it didn't happen. Like nobody really used skulls. It might have came up once, and it was probably by accident. We weren't really thinking that way. And then we played on game night a few weeks ago, and it came up more than I thought it was going to. It came up, I think I had like 4 or 5 scorched land areas.
Oh, wow.
I think Joe rolled a bunch of skulls and Bill rolled a bunch of skulls.
Who
and it hits everybody at the table.
Oh, okay.
So if I do it, everybody else has to scorch land.
That's kind of better than
picking
Bill.
Yeah,
no one was just specifically targeting me. But you can try to avoid some of that. You can build walls, and you can try to wall in part of your city, which saves it from certain things.
Yeah.
You don't want to put buildings next to each other, because if they're next to each other,
they all get infected or
disease.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you if it mattered where you put your buildings.
And then there's some buildings at the end of the game that will score points depending on what's next to it or what's not next to it. So that kind of thing. The look of the game is beautiful. The buildings are so cool. It's cool to like take them and stick them on the board.
Yeah.
And the one thing is the board itself, the pegboard is yellow.
Yes,
right,
the whole thing is yellow. And
it's
weird.
Like,
it's very weird for a $70 game. I would think that they could do something. The whole thing is just yellow.
Even if it was like gray or something.
So Dave's going through, and he's with a Sharpie. He's coloring. He's basically giving it a wash. He's coloring in all the like indentations of the boards with a Sharpie marker or a pen or something.
Yeah, like those fine tip,
like a fine tip Sharpie. And I think
make it look.
I feel bad for him because I think he did the one and it took him hours and hours, and he was like, "Well, I have to do the rest now."
He said it takes him about an hour. He got the last one done in about an hour. He get 2 of them done.
Oh, okay.
So he says he's just like watching TV and we'll do one.
Yeah,
but it looks so much better.
It
looks so much better when you do it.
Yeah, it pops out a little bit, right?
So the game itself is cool. I would suggest playing it.
I want to.
I'm glad Dave has it because then I can play it whenever.
What's the weight like? What does it feel like to you? Is it pretty light?
It's light medium. Yeah, okay. I wouldn't. I think that the medium part comes into how you're going to place your buildings. The light part is, you're rolling dice, so you're at
the rules aren't that complicated.
Yeah, you're at the
mercy of
the dice. You roll dice, and maybe you get some skulls, and then you adapt based on, all right, I have so much wood, I can build this building, I can't build that one. But the idea of where you want to put it or how big you want your walls to be, because if they're smaller, you can enclose them easier.
Yeah,
and you get double the points for inside the wall, and then you might not get diseases or something inside the wall. But if you make it bigger, you get more points because it's a bigger wall. So I would say light medium.
Okay,
cool.
Yeah,
I thought it would be heavier than that.
Well, again, you
based
think
on looks alone,
and the price tag.
And the price tag.
So that was the one stopper for me. I think was okay. We're looking at $70 here. How much weight to depth ratio am I going to get?
Right.
Is it going to be worth it? Okay, I paid all this money and I feel like I got my money's worth.
That's what happened to us. Like Detective City of Angels was high on our Gen Con list, and none of us ended up buying it because it was so
$100
expensive.
It's on Kickstarter now.
Yeah, there's a Kickstarter.
So
we knew that, I thought, right? Because Jen wanted. I think Jen wants it.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Sweet. That's I want to play that at some point.
Yeah, I would play
me
it
too.
All right, we got to talk about it. Jeff, you jump in and ask anything you want because I know. I'm sorry you haven't played it yet.
The most hyped game.
This might be all right. Before we get into, we're going to talk about Tapestry. But before we get into this, we got to talk a little bit about Jamie Stegmaier.
Yeah,
and you can jump in here, Jeff, for sure, because this guy, Okay, first of all, Stonemaier Games, which is the company that Jamie Stegmaier owns and runs, and
I didn't know he owned it.
He's built into this huge deal now. They are so polarizing. There's even a thread on Board Game Geek right now. It says, "Why is Stonemaier games so polarizing?" Or Jamie Stegmaier, why is he so polarizing? Basically, what I mean by that is some people hate these guys. Like,
oh, really?
So I don't know if you know, when Tapestry was first announced, which was right after Gen Con. Gen Con was hype, and then Gen Con ends, and then Tapestry gets announced like right after. First of all, wow. But what a brilliant move that is. People are still kind of like high on the, talking about board games buzz of Gen Con, but it's over. And he didn't have to compete with all the buzz beforehand. And now people are still on high alert about games. And then boom, Tapestry gets announced. Like, brilliant
people who didn't
move.
get to go to Gen Con probably feel like...
Yeah, I didn't have
some
to,
cool
I didn't miss out because now I
Yeah.
get this. And so some people hate that, I guess. So Tapestry's announced, and if you looked at the rating right when it was announced on Board Game Geek, it was like 5.5.
Yeah, there was a bunch of people blew it up.
Which is low. Very low.
Did they even play it?
No.
No,
People
they were
do
just
this
angry
thing
at
where
it.
they just go on and they just rate it a 1. That's just, people do that. It's ridiculous.
weird.
It's stupid. It's ridiculous. And then so some people try to offset that and rate it a 10, and I also think it's like, just don't rate it at all
Yeah.
until you play
Why
the
are you
damn
even
thing.
rating it? Yeah, if
Stop
you've never
rating
played it.
I get some people are trying to white knight it and be like, well, I'm going to counter this 1 and rate it a 10. So
Yeah.
I get it.
I wonder if Board Game Geek could like lock it or something.
Well, they
like,
have this algorithm
Right.
that
They put-
usually removes a lot of this crap.
Yeah.
But for some reason, enough of them got through that the game was like tanked rating wise. Now it's up to like 7.8.
even
It's
with
like-
all those ones.
Yeah, even with all
Yeah.
that, it's like way up there. So, Stegmaier. All right. So it's not just Tapestry that got. So Tapestry might have, in this 1 month window, Tapestry got by far more buzz than any game at Gen Con. Would you agree with that?
All right.
If you look at Instagram
Yes.
right now, how
any one
many?
game,
All right, so
yeah.
Jeff and I probably follow about 800 or so people on Instagram,
Yeah.
give or take, maybe more in your case. And I'm scrolling through my Instagram feed, and I'm going to say at least 40% of the posts I see are Tapestry right now. It's ridiculous. Okay,
Wow.
so before Tapestry was a little game that you might have heard of called Wingspan. All right.
You ever heard
Now,
of that
how did
one?
that game do?
Yeah, I think
Right?
so.
Like, what was the hype like? I would say, what was the most hyped game since Tapestry? I'd probably say Wingspan.
And again,
Same company.
on Instagram,
Oh,
you look
really?
through, people are
Still.
playing, and they're like, finally got to play Wingspan because you
Yep.
couldn't find it anywhere.
Yep.
And again,
Wow.
another great marketing strategy
Beautiful
by him.
marketing. If he did that on purpose, then
Yeah.
geez, this guy. So another game that had a little bit of hype that came out a couple years ago was this little game called Scythe.
Yeah.
And you guys might
There
not
was a
remember
lot of
this,
hype around
but when
that.
that game hit Kickstarter, I think that was on every single person I've ever seen's like most hyped game for 2016 or whatever year it came out, and I was one of them. I kickstarted, I backed it. I was like salivating like crazy. You see this artwork with this mech in this like farm field, and everyone's like, "What is this? Oh my gosh!" And personally for me, the game came and I played it, and I thought it was just okay. I thought the hype was a little bit too much. Right? I didn't think it was total. The gameplay totally matched.
Yeah.
And I felt that way also with Viticulture, which is another Stonemaier game that Jamie designed, and I thought it was good, not great. I never played Euphoria. I haven't totally gotten around to that.
I think a lot of people are on the same boat with Euphoria as well.
Yeah,
What do you
it's
think?
kind of like good, not great. And then the other one that they've done is, just a couple more. They've done Charterstone,
Oh, right.
which we were oh my gosh, the
We were
buzz
pumped
around that
about
one.
that.
Yeah.
The buzz around that one was like,
never
whoa,
played
and
it.
we just never got around to it. And then they've also done little games like Between Two Cities.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I
and
like
they
that game.
and they do Between Two Castles of
Castles,
Mad
which is
King
the Mad
Ludwig,
King.
yeah, which is the new one. But so this guy just knows how to run his company. I don't know if it's just a blog post or a book or what it is, but he helps people with Kickstarters.
Oh, yeah?
He's written like his experiences and how to be successful at Kickstarter by Jamie Stegmaier kind of thing is what he's written or something like that. And so people use his, these texts that he's written to run Kickstarter campaigns and to be successful. So now he's not doing that anymore. Wingspan was not a Kickstarter, and I think he said that he's not doing Kickstarter anymore.
I don't think
at
he
all.
needs to. What he's doing now is his Kickstarter. Like he can just develop the game and get the fund. Like he
Yep.
Wow.
can
Yeah,
just
pre-orders,
avoid
boom.
Kickstarter
Pre-orders?
completely now. Yep.
Yeah. So
He's like built up the reputation that he can just do it on his own.
especially in these last two games, and I'm going to say this right now: the Wingspan delivered. Fantastic game. Great game. Elizabeth Hargrave designed it. I thought that was the difference. I was like, okay, Jamie, maybe I don't like Jamie's designs specifically, but we just played Tapestry last night, and holy crap, dude, Stegmeyer designed it. What a
goosebumps. I wanna
game.
play.
I know,
It's great.
Jeff, it is so good.
Yes.
Man, it's so good.
I was happy opening it.
Yeah.
I got it a few days before you.
Yep.
And we were texting back and forth about. I made Ryan slightly jealous because I was like, I got it. I'm
Yep.
sorry.
Yeah, he got it first.
But like opening it, and even when we talk about marketing, the fact that on the bottom of the box he has
Yes.
a print number on it.
What's your print number?
Like 1540. Okay, the fact that I know it's 1547 is a joke. I'm pretty sure I'm 1547. But
Out of 25,000.
out of 25,000, that's just so cool. Like, what a cool marketing.
Yeah.
Like, this is your number. Like,
Wait,
you have this.
1,547 or 15,047?
1,500.
Yeah,
Wow.
ours is 1899.
Okay. Wow. So we're in the first
1899 is a cool
2,000?
one. Yeah, like how cool.
Whoa.
And again, it means nothing. It's not like I
Right.
got something,
But,
Right.
but it was
makes you
cool.
feel
I was
exclusive.
like, sweet. Yeah, you
Yeah,
felt
I
like
think he
this
knows
is-
how to get people like excited
Juiced up, amped
and
up.
feel like out of 25,000, then they probably feel like I got to get this. Like, well, I'm not sure if I want it, but if I don't get it now, I might lose
That's
my
how
chance.
I felt.
Right.
And so
I wasn't
just,
sure I
just
wanted
go
it.
for it.
I was like, oh my God, he announced this game called Tapestry. I'm like, looks cool. Pre-orders go up. I'm like, well, because you saw, everybody saw what happened with Wingspan.
Yep.
Luckily, I was one of the early ones that same thing. I pre-ordered Wingspan immediately. And so I was one of the first people to
so do they,
get it.
They
And
do
I
a
did not.
print and then they like wait a little bit so that's like not available.
I don't know if they do it on purpose. I don't know. I know they do a print run of a certain amount of games. And then when that's gone, they have to print it again. And so that
Yeah.
takes time. And a lot of times they know. They'll be like, okay, we did a print run of 10,000 games. Our pre-orders went in a day. So we already know we got to do another print run. So they'll get that in the works before the first print's even here.
Yeah.
So by the time people get their games, there's already another print happening. And it just takes a few weeks or a month or more to do
Okay.
that. But Wingspan went and blew the freak out. It just blew up, right? So all the people that missed out, you know, like at first, like Jeff, that missed
FOMO.
out, that were FOMO'd like crazy. Like, oh my gosh, I got to get this game. People are going crazy about it. And it is a really good game.
Yeah.
People are going crazy about it. Then now Tapestry's here and they're like, that's not happening to me again.
Oh my gosh.
And so they're, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Stegmeyer, man,
What a
this guy.
genius.
Yeah, he's a
His ne-
marketing
and
genius.
Just imagine what his next game to do.
I know.
He's going to do the same thing again.
Yep.
Right. And especially if the last two delivered, you know, maybe if like the last two games weren't like the best games, the next one.
Well, he's got
wouldn't do
fanboys.
so well,
For
but-
all the people that like just don't like him, he's got just as many people
Oh,
that are just
really?
fanboys
Okay.
and just talk about how.
Yeah, that's true. A
so-
lot of
you know,
people did like Side.
Yeah, people think Scythe is the greatest game that's ever been invented. Same with Viticulture. I know there's a lot of people that
Okay,
Viticulture
yeah.
is their favorite Euro game of all time.
really?
Yeah, I don't think the same is quite said of Euphoria, but it gets its respect.
Yeah.
And then Wingspan, I mean, it just won the Kenner Spiel, right? So that
Yeah.
thing is going crazy. And then Tapestry came out. I got to tell you,
It was so good.
I would play it right now.
Me too.
All right, let's
Let's-
move.
let's
let's
shut
we
this
weren't
down.
even done.
Let's shut this down. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it.
We weren't even done playing it, and I was like, I'll play this again tomorrow.
All right, so
Like-
let's talk a little bit about the actual game. So how it works is it's touted as a civilization game, and if the game has any negative about it for me, I would say that you don't really feel that. You can. I mean, it's all a lot of the theme in these games is all what you make it. You know, if you read every card's flavor text and get into it, which is what they want you to do, then you're going to feel it a little bit. But Natalie and I don't typically do that. We focus more on the mechanisms and how they feel to us. And so to me, I didn't feel the theme come through super strong. I didn't feel like I was like starting out just, you know, I've created fire and then by the end of the game, I'm going into space and I've amassed as a main civilization. I didn't totally feel that theme come through.
Yeah.
But what the game, oh gosh, all right. So how the game works is there's a board and then,
Wait, let me start taking notes.
yeah, okay.
Okay, board. Okay, continue.
Yeah, and then there's some cards.
Cards.
And there's tokens, and the tokens have
Is this how
artwork
you
on the
think I
cards.
sound?
No, I just I didn't know how I couldn't make you sound like me. You know, still sweet, Dr. Pepper. Yeah. So what you do? So there's a board in the middle of the table, and it's got tracks on them on like the perimeter of the board, and there's 4 different tracks. And so if anyone's played a Civilization game before, you know what these kind of tracks are. There's like the technology track, the science track, the military track, and the exploration track. In the middle of the board, there's these it's like a hex grid, right? And so you start with some of your people on the hex grid on one of the islands, and your opponents are on different islands. And you each have a civilization card that you take at the beginning of the game, and this is specific to you, and it has a power, basically, that only you can use, which is super cool. And then basically what you do is you can go on the exploration track to build the world out and grow your people. Or you can go on the military track to attack your neighbors and build points that way. Or you can go on the science track to help you get up on the other tracks, faster. Or you can go on the technology track to get technologies, to upgrade those, to get points, to bring out more buildings. There's all these cool 3D buildings in the game that you saw. And what you do with those is you're kind of playing a little mini game on the right side of the board, of your player board. And I'm to understand that he borrowed this mechanism from A Feast for Odin because he loves that game so much. So it's kind of like a little polyomino type puzzle
like
that you're doing.
Thing.
So it looks like a Sudoku board. Okay, so it's 3x3 big things, and then each 3x3 section is made up of 3x3 little squares. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So it's 9x9, basically little squares in 3x3 sections. Okay, and so you have these resource tokens on your board, and whenever you're taking those off for whatever reason, when you're going on tracks, you take those off, you put those immediately on that little board, and other cards will give you these big 3D buildings. And you'd think those 3D buildings go on the main board, but they don't. They go on that little player board. You might have seen from the picture I sent you. And so you're using all of that stuff to try to get more resources. Like if you fill up one of those little 3x3 sections of the big 3x3, you get a resource of any kind you want. But if you complete a column and a row, you get victory points. And then the more tokens you take off of your resource board amplifies the amount of victory points you get. Right, so you're kind of working to both utilize your civilization power. You need to get as many of those resource tokens off of your player board as you can because it gives you more stuff, and you're really trying to get presence on the main board to score the most victory points. Because at the end of the game, it's the most victory points wins. On your turn, basically all you do is one of two things: you either advance on one of those 4 tracks around the board, like I talked about. That's all you do, and you got to pay resources to do it, or you collect income, which is essentially passing on to the next phase. So the game works kind of like Everdell in that way, where I could be on phase 3 and Natalie's still on phase 1 because you determine when you move on. Does that make sense? So,
which is basically when you run out of resources.
Yeah.
And need more.
When you're done with but there are strategic elements that you could keep resources around and keep passing. But yeah, a lot of the time in our first game that we played, we just played an era until we ran out of resources. And so there's these cards. Like I said, one of them is technology cards, and those you can take, and they do exactly what you think they would do. They give you like victory points, or they give you resources in other ways. You can upgrade those technologies, and they get you more stuff. And the other kind of cards there are Tapestry cards. Now, these are the cards that are advancing, quote unquote, your civilization. And so there's 5 phase eras of the game. So after both of us have played through the 5th era of the game, it ends and we count victory points. Every time you take the collect income action, which is to basically advance your civilization forward to the next era, you're playing a Tapestry card that you have in your hand already to the board. And so that one might say, okay, I created fire, and this one says now I'm like a scholar, right? So now I've, invented education, right? And so that'll have a little sort of benefit for that era or for the rest of the game, or just right when you play it, it does something for you. And then you collect all the income from all of those little things you took off your board in the previous round, and you put on your polyomino thing, because now you've revealed new income things. And so you get all that stuff, and that sets you up for the new era. Okay, now I have 6 food, and I have 5 the military strength stuff. And okay, so now I can play the rest of the actions, which is just advancing on those tracks.
So your resources are based on when you take things off of your main player board, and they go on your board to the right, right?
That's the resources that you gain during your income.
There's other ways to get
the next
resources.
Era, or
okay.
Are there a bunch of those Tapestry cards? Are they all different?
There's a huge deck, and we only played with 7 cards. Well, we had more than that, I guess, throughout the game, but there was like a giant stack of 50.
I probably saw 7.
So we maybe got through not even a quarter.
Okay.
Of them.
And are there certain ones you can only play like in that era? Are you playing like just?
You can play them whenever you want, but some give you more of a benefit if you play them first. So like one of the era cards that I had, or Tapestry cards that I had, said, if you're the first one to enter this era, because I can go before her, then you gain a technology and upgrade it immediately. And that's super powerful. And they're like, if you're not the first one to play this card, you just get 3 points. So it's not...
Or I had one where on a couple tracks, I was very close to spots that would give me either technology cards or Tapestry cards. And it said that if I got either a technology card or a Tapestry card during this era, I'd get 3 points each time. So I played it strategically during that era when I thought I could get that on like my next turn if I went on these tracks. Just things like that.
And the game plays like butter. It just goes back and forth.
What are you doing on the? What's the main board? What's the
the main board?
Of the big board?
That's where you're. So there's on the exploration track. You're going on that exploration track, and it's giving you hex tiles. And then there's other actions on the exploration track that lets you put the hex tiles on the board. When you put those on the board, you get points based on what land types are surrounding the tile you placed. So you'll get like, it's kind of like Saikatsu. You'll get like 3 or 4 points by placing the tile there.
And then the flowers. Oh, wait, no.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no flowers this time.
The birds.
Yeah. But so there's sometimes on those tiles, there's a resource in the middle of it. And so when you place it, you also collect that resource. And you need to place those tiles on the board to advance your military. Because when you can only... So on the military track, you're conquering these lands by putting out these little 3D tokens. I can't remember what they're called at this moment. They're not monuments, but that's what I'm going to call them for purposes of this. So you basically put a monument out, but you can only go on a land tile that's adjacent to one that you already control.
Okay.
So you have to play the tiles to expand out and do that. And there's, at the beginning of every game, there's 3 objectives that are printed on the board. And this is just like Scythe and a ton of different games that have this kind of style thing. And Yokohama that we forgot.
Yeah.
So there's 3 things printed on the board. And the first person to achieve one of those gets 10 victory points. The second one gets 5, and then everyone else gets nothing. So one of them is control the middle region of the board. First person to control that region of the board gets 10 points. Then another one says, if you knock down, basically combat 2 different opponents and win, you get 10 points. And the other one is be highest on any one of the tracks, or get all the way up on any one of the tracks first, and you get 10 points. So you're balancing a lot of different things here. I don't know exactly how balanced the factions are yet. I've heard and read a lot.
There's so
about
many.
How people are saying it's very imbalanced, but they don't have the data yet. That's my opinion. But there's a lot of threads out there.
Does it tell you what to do with 2 people? Does it tell you 2 starting ones to do with 2 people?
No.
Okay.
No.
We just pick random.
I know sometimes they have that where like 4 people you pick them.
Yeah, pick these ones, the 2, and they might come out with something like that at maybe a later time. Or if they did, I didn't see it. There's a variant in a 2-player game that you can like make it more interactive, because admittedly, Natalie and I didn't really do much attacking to each other.
No.
But we don't value that in board games, so it didn't matter.
We didn't really care about that. But, I mean, the gist of your turn is basically using your resources, deciding which track you want to move on and what action you want to take. And depending on the type of resources you have, because you have to pay resources to do these moves, it just depends on what resources you have to decide what you can do. The order of what you do them can affect, because like if you do one thing first, it can give you more moves instead of having to go through your income phase again. It was good. It was a good game.
I was surprised.
I liked it a lot.
I was pleasantly surprised. It didn't take long with 2 of us. It took
maybe like a little over an hour.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I'd say an hour and a half.
I think I could reel Devin into playing.
She would like this.
I mean, it was pretty. There wasn't a lot of
She liked Underwater Cities.
She would like this is way lighter than that.
Yeah, for sure.
We were pretty. I mean, there was like a couple times we were hung up, but for the most part, we were pretty back and forth, because you're just doing your one move, and then taking your action, and so we were kind of going back and forth, and
there's not a lot of downtime.
It moved.
Well, the rule book's 4 pages, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the first page is like, here's what's in the box.
Yep.
Right? That's incredible to make a Civ game with that.
I will say this. I didn't even read the rulebook. I watched the Watch It Played video.
Yeah.
And the Watch It Played video is 25 minutes long.
Okay.
So, there's and if you remember when I taught it to you, there's a lot to kind of go over.
Yeah.
So you're right, but you're right. It's very simple. The rule set is very simple. So you don't need to know any more than those 4 pages.
Right. Well, and then you have this huge reference sheet that explains every single action on every single track. So you don't have to really explain it all,
There's a lot of iconography. There's a lot of iconography, but I will say that the iconography, after you play for, 3 or 4 rounds, you get it all.
Yeah, yeah.
Very rarely did I have to pick up the sheet and go, what does this do? Mm-hmm. Very rarely, because there's just not a ton going on. So let's talk about the weight for a little bit and the complexity of the game. It's lighter than you might think. For a Civilization game, it's heavier than something like Era or World Through the Ages, but it's much lighter than something like Through the Ages or Sid Meier's Civilization. Yeah, it's much lighter than that. So a lot of people are kind of feeling duped, like, well, wait a minute, this is a Civilization game. I thought this was going to be like this.
Do you feel like it's a pretty solid medium?
It's definitely medium weight.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what I think.
what people are always looking for, it's kind of like the holy grail for a lot of people in the hobby. They're always looking for a Civilization game that takes less than 2 hours.
Oh, well,
because Sid
there
Meier's
you go.
Civilization, how long does that game take?
4.
4 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Right? Through the ages, I think
I think the
it takes
box on
hours
Sid
and
Meier's might
hours.
say like 2 to 3, but that's
Yeah,
a
bullshit.
It's a long game.
It's a long game, right? Tapestry, you can get through, in a 2-player game, we can get through it in an hour, maybe a
I
little more
bet the next
than
time
an
we
hour.
play, it would be about an hour-ish.
Do you
Maybe
think
a
with
little bit
4
more.
it scales up
Yeah,
or no?
for sure.
So
I mean,
it'd
it's going
be
to
2
take
with
Yeah.
4,
it's going to take about
Still.
2 to 2.5 hours with 4 or 5 because it plays up to 5.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so it would take longer, but I mean only because of there's just a little bit more decisions to make. I'll tell you this: the dice doesn't matter that you don't have more than 3.
Okay.
Oh,
They're-
right.
Yeah, because you pass them, right?
Yeah, well, and
they're not
You
yours.
only
taking-
use, right, they're not yours. You just use it if you
you're-
take a certain action that lets you roll
Okay.
this dice.
And there's no simultaneous actions, so it's not like I'm waiting just for the dice to be rolled. And you don't even roll them all that often. The science one you roll a lot. The military one you only roll if you're going to be
Yeah.
conquering, and that only happens. I mean, it happens more than it doesn't on that track.
we
but
named
we
it
didn't really
Bill
do
Nye
it.
the Science Die.
We did.
Yeah, remember? You're like, this is the science die, and then you're like, Bill Nye the Science Die.
That did not happen.
Yes, it did.
What are you talking
I
about?
can't vouch for
seriously
either
don't
of you.
remember?
No, we did. We just did Bill Nye the Signs Guy in
No,
this episode.
this was yesterday during Tapestry. You said Bill Nye the Science Die.
I like
because
that sounds like
It's funny. You should
It does-
say that.
I could not
that
believe you
sounds
don't
like-
You should claim
remember
it because
that.
I
Are
think
you
it's good.
sure I did that?
Yes.
That does sound like something I would do.
because the die was related to the science track.
I remember. I did that. Yeah,
you did
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
Yeah.
I know. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill. So maybe that's why Bill Nye the Science
It's in our
Guy
head.
seeped into my subconscious. Today.
Yeah.
Anyway, dude, you're gonna love it.
I'm excited.
You're going to love it. Take it to game night.
Yeah.
Play it with the 4 or
Yes.
even the 5 of them. You're gonna have a blast.
Yeah,
It's
because
really fun.
It being able to be played because we play for about 3 hours on Monday. So
Oh,
it being
yeah.
able to get
I
in
think
and then
we're good.
also then being able to play a
Yeah,
point
you can
salad
play
or
something else.
quick
Right,
or something
right.
at the end would
Because
be
the teach is not too long. Because there's just not much to do. It's so
Yeah.
funny. You're gonna be you sit down and you're about to explain it, and you're like, all you're doing is either you're just picking a track to go up on, or you're passing to get income. That's all you're doing. That's literally all you're doing. And so the tracks are all divided into 3.
Yeah, like
Different
3
sections.
3 sections of 3.
Yeah, 3 sections of 3. Just
So like the
little
cheaper,
thing.
the first ones are kind of cheaper.
Yeah, so each one has an action on it.
like one resource
So if I move
cost.
up on the science track, there's an action that I take. And to take that action, you have to pay the cost associated that's up top. And so there's 3 sections because the second section it just gets more expensive.
okay.
And the actions are better as
Right.
you
Sure.
move along, of
Yes.
course. But that's the game. It is fantastic. The civilizations that you start with, there's 17 of those, I think.
Yeah, there was a bunch. And
Ton.
first of all, they feel awesome.
Oh, they're
don't
so
they?
cool.
Oh, they're so nice.
Like
They
they're not
feel like
just
someone
like
poured
cardstock.
sand on them, and then you're just like,
Yeah, it's almost like
"Ooh."
the wingspan directions.
Yeah.
Have that little
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's very cool. Again, going a
Again,
little above and beyond.
Stonemaier. Yeah, they just put that little extra in there to make your entire experience with this game, not just playing the game like a game like Terraforming Mars will give you, because that game is so good. Terraforming
Yes.
Mars, so good. But you don't have any visceral connection to that game in any other way other than the gameplay. Same with Castles of Burgundy. But when you open Tapestry, you just first of all you see the box and you're like,
Yeah.
that looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You open it. You're like, oh my gosh, this looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Jeff just took the game out and took a bunch of pictures of it. He didn't even play it. He just took a bunch of pictures of it. And you could
got
tell
you
just from those
excited.
pictures that you were like, oh my gosh, this is so
Yeah.
cool. So
Yeah.
you're having all these visceral experiences separate from even playing the game.
Right.
Stegmaier.
Well, like
This
you
guy.
said,
He gets
that like where you put those buildings on that little sideboard, that's not even a major part of the game.
It's not.
And so
those
that
big
wasn't even
buildings-
necessary. Like they could have just been tiles.
Yeah, it could've been a tile,
But they
But-
did what they did, and it makes it so much
Yeah,
cooler.
but they're
Would've
pre-painted
gotten the
miniatures.
buzz and
Right.
Right. He knows what he's doing.
Let me ask you a question. The military part, you didn't feel like was sometimes it bothers me when games have strong military presence where
Yeah.
you always feel like you're attacking or
Yeah.
you didn't feel that way.
No,
No, we didn't attack each other.
Well, so here's the attacking though. Even if we did, you're not doing anything to the other player other than taking away maybe a couple of victory points from them. So
Yeah.
the attacking is just if you're next to me and you have one of your monuments on a tile next to me and I take the conquer action, I go over and I put one of my monuments on your tile and I just tip you over, and then I get to do
and now
some
whenever
things.
you score that,
If I score points
action.
based on how many tiles I've conquered,
you just won't get a point for that one.
you'll just lose 1 point
Yeah.
for that. So, and you can never retake that tile back over. So
Yeah.
that's it. It's not a big screw you
That's
to
good.
the game.
'Cause sometimes it's like a race where if I'm going military, you have to go military or you'll lose.
Nope.
So that's good.
No,
You don't
no,
Well,
no.
feel that
not
way.
that I found. I mean, neither of us went hard military. So,
No, we didn't.
But I don't think if she went hard military, it would have hurt me.
Okay.
Exactly.
You know what I
Or
mean?
it would have completely changed how you played. Or,
Yeah,
that's good.
It would have.
Yeah.
It honestly would have just made me go, okay, well, she's doing that, so she's got that cornered. I'm going to go somewhere else.
Right. We actually kind of both went like hit technology semi-hard. That was like
Yeah, we
our
got in
main
each other's
focus,
way
but
doing that.
It's funny because I got like a ton of points from that in a different way than you got points from that.
Yep.
Like I scored the technology card points a lot more, and then you had a bunch of those, but you
Yeah, I raced up on that track. And
you
got the
raced
10
up on that
points from
track,
doing
got the
that.
10 points. Yeah.
That's cool.
So
great.
there's a lot of
Nobody
different ways
finished-
you can get
Nobody
points.
like finished earlier. Like it didn't feel like
No, I think
just
you
'cause you
finished.
can move through the
I
eras
was
faster,
done.
right?
I finished the game and finished my era, but she was in the middle of that era still.
Okay.
So I finished it right
No,
when.
I think that after
Maybe
you
you had just
finished, I
started.
I did one more turn, and then I finished.
Okay, that's what I
mine.
felt like with Everdell is you can get Everdell. You don't finish before everyone else. Like you can finish before, but it's not like you're sitting there for half an hour while
No.
other
Right.
people are
This
playing.
game's same way.
Good.
I mean, I guess if there's a 5-player game and you had the bad luck that Jeremy had playing Everdell, and there's a potential you could just race through and finish and then just be sitting there. That is a potential, but I don't see that
see that,
happening
yeah.
unless you are just making terrible decisions.
Because one of us wasn't like that far ahead of the other one as far as resources to be used, so that meant the amount of actions we took were pretty similar.
Yeah, good.
So that's Tapestry.
Sounds awesome.
It
Amazing.
was so awesome.
You're gonna love
I
it.
loved it.
You're gonna love it. I have no doubt in my mind that you're going to think it's great.
Good.
I'm not trying to overhype it. It doesn't
know.
need to
No,
be
yeah.
overhyped because it's been hyped.
I don't want to
enough.
overhype it,
But
yeah.
I'm telling you, Natalie and I are jaded to a lot of games. There's a lot
are.
of games
We're
we just
pretty
don't like.
judgmental.
And this one is,
lately.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty confident you're gonna like.
I want
it.
to keep it.
Andrew Bosley, he does the art. I think he does the Everdell art too.
Oh,
I think it's the
really?
same.
Well,
Yeah,
Well,
I
it
think
makes
it's the
sense.
same.
Look, I have the boxes next to each other, and I remember I saw somebody post a Instagram.
I saw that same picture.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yep.
they look
I'm pretty
beautiful
sure
together.
I
It makes
think
sense.
yeah,
that makes
I think it's
complete
the same
sense.
guy.
Color scheme looks similar too. So, okay, those are some games we've been playing recently. Now we're gonna kick on over to the game of the episode.
At least
So-
I have someone to
played a
play
game.
with.
Yep.
Oh,
so
boy.
this is
Someone to beat.
this one is kind of in the spirit. So I did this with Jeff in mind. So Jeff's dad goes to this restaurant kind of / bar that's close to Jeff's house called Eastside Mario's. Shout out to Eastside
That's right,
Mario's.
Eastside Mario's. They're listening.
Yeah, and they do a trivia night. I don't know.
Oh, boy.
I don't know
a
what it is.
trivia game?
So for you two today, I have some BGT.
Board game
Board
trivia.
game
Board
Trivia?
game.
I got
Jeff gets first
yep.
point.
I was going to say,
Let me mark that down.
All right, so I need you guys both have
I think
something
you
to write
might
on.
win this.
Okay, we
Yeah,
have
so you both on the round.
I don't know about that.
So here we go.
You know
What do we have to write?
Do me a favor. Don't look at the screen. Well, you'll write the answers, and then
okay, and then we'll reveal them.
Yeah. So basically, here's how it's going to work. Okay, I'm going to read a question. You're going to have not very long, but I'm going to give you a little bit of time to come up
Okay.
with your answer.
Okay.
And then, before we move on to question 2, I'll say, Natalie, what'd you come up with? And then
Okay.
Jeff, and I'll tell you the right answer, or, depending on the thing. And then we'll tally our points at the end. All right? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Don't look at the screen,
Should
guys.
should I move it over here?
Yeah,
I gotta
definitely.
move my
I won't
Yeah,
look.
for sure. Here, I'll move it. Just move it over slightly.
Oh boy. Just move it over
At
slightly.
least you didn't say skosh.
A skosh. I guess I've been saying.
skosh. You've been
I guess I've been
skoshing?
saying a skosh lately,
Really?
and she's
Where'd it come
getting
from?
real pissed off.
I'm getting pissed off, but I don't know why. I don't.
just
I
noticed.
don't like it.
Oh,
Well,
like how much don't you like it? Like just a
You're like,
skosh.
skosh.
I'm just gonna. Yeah. You're like, let's just like adjust this a skosh, and I'm like, why does he always say the word
Oh, so I'm
say that
saying
out
it-
loud or just in your head?
in my
You're
head?
like, yeah.
Yeah, she's never.
So this is where the hatred is coming out
yeah,
right now.
just
Okay.
today.
Right,
She
he was
like,
doing- we were
you
testing-
said skosh again. I'm like, I did?
We were testing
Wait a
the
minute,
levels, and
yeah.
I was like, you might just want to like adjust that, and I was like, in my head, I was like, he's just gonna say a skosh, and he's like, I'll adjust it just a skosh, and I was like, I knew it.
And they, that's so funny.
I don't know. It's one of the whiter things I say, I suppose. Okay, so here we go. We are starting with our BGT. Are you guys ready for number 1?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're starting off with a difficult question.
Oh, boy.
Great. Make us feel
Underwater
stupid.
cities. In the game Underwater Cities, you might recall it has some interesting and odd player colors. Can you name them?
All of them?
Just pick colors if you don't know.
Yeah, so the player colors are not normal. That's my one clue. Most games have red, green, yellow, and blue. Underwater Cities, as you may or may not know, does not have those. Natalie, your clue is it's a 4-player game.
I was just gonna say, are there 4? I don't know why I think I'd be good at trivia. My memory is the worst.
Does it say it on the box? Let's look at the box. Does it say it?
It says it. I had to open up the rules. I remembered. I was like,
Yeah.
I
Do
think
you
that
get a
game
point
has
per
unique.
correct one?
You're gonna get a point if you get it right. You're gonna not get a point if you lose it. If you don't get it right.
I'm kind of making these up.
I know 2 for sure. I've only played the game 2 players.
We haven't played it in a long time. Oh,
Yeah, we haven't. I knew it was gonna be a hard one.
What's this last one? What's it gonna
You
be?
want me to tell you?
Nope.
Puce.
I'll just go.
Periwinkle.
Fuchsia.
Yeah, you had to get the shade of the color.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
I'm ready.
It's like
All right.
I don't feel confident.
Natalie, give me the first color that you think is in there.
Orange.
Yeah, you got one. All right, let's think. What about another one?
Magenta.
Magenta.
Really, that's wrong?
That. Wait a minute. What? Okay, I'm not even gonna try to understand why your brain came up with it. No.
Pink?
Sorry. No.
Purple.
Yes.
Are those all the ones you wrote, or are you just saying colors now?
Natalie,
Oh, I put orange, magenta, turquoise, and yellow.
you got orange.
Are you serious?
All right, Jeff, what do you got?
I have purple and orange.
Yep,
which I know are
correct.
there.
You're correct.
And then I have black and pink, which I don't.
Oh, he's so close.
Oh.
It's orange, black, purple, and blue.
Oh, blue.
Blue.
See, yeah, blue. Dang. All right,
Natalie was closest with magenta.
magenta. So what I get 3?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. All right. So
Wait.
no, I'm counting that as you just both didn't get it.
Oh, we didn't get it.
So
Okay.
0-0.
Zero.
So 0-0.
So we're both blue.
Okay. Now
Loser.
this one, you
At
guys
least you
only
didn't get it.
you only have. I'm gonna count down
boy.
from. Should I give you 10 or 15 seconds? I'm gonna give you either 10 or 15 seconds. I'm gonna count down. You have to name 3 games that are only for 2 players.
How many games?
3.
So are we going to go one at a time?
No, you're going to write them down. I'm going to give you 15
Oh,
seconds.
okay.
Ready?
Okay.
Go. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11 Z's, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Natalie, were you
I
able
totally
to get
panicked.
3 games that came out?
Only 2 players?
Only 2 players. What do you got?
Codenames Duet,
Yep.
Patchwork,
Okay.
and Agricola All Creatures Big and Small.
Hey!
Oh my God,
Jeff, what do you
panicked.
got, Jeff?
I only had 2.
Okay, what?
I had Patchwork and Onirim. That's all I
Oh,
had.
yeah, Onirim. Well, wait. I think Onirim is.
Oh, so it's
you can
1
also
and
play
2?
1. Yeah, this one was only for 2. Okay, so Natalie gets a point.
Natalie, well done.
So can Natalie, you want to keep score? Because I guess I can.
1-0.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
sure.
One
It'll
another
be something
right
to
now.
nothing is
Yeah.
what the score will be.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, don't look.
Now look.
Okay. Are you ready for number 3?
Oh boy. Stupid blue.
I know you were so close. Okay. Who is the publisher? And don't look at the games
Okay.
in the room.
No looking at the
All right.
I'm not good at
Who's the publisher of Galaxy Trucker? I'm going to give you some.
You already know.
I got it.
All right, Natalie.
Go get ready, Joyce.
All right.
Is
Just
it
kidding.
Z-Man,
Oh,
Rio Grande, CGE, which is Chex Games Edition, or Fantasy Flight?
Z-Man.
No.
All right, Jeff, what is it?
I think it's CG.
It's CGE.
CG. Yeah.
Yep. CGE.
When you said publisher in my head, I thought designer. And I was going to say like Reiner Knizia.
Reiner Knizia, your guy. Stefan Feld, Reiner Knizia.
You were like
That
Z-Man.
point.
I was like, whoop, would have got that wrong.
All right,
All right, we're even now.
Yep, 1 to 1.
1 to 1.
Nice job. Nice job. Yeah, it was funny. I don't even know if I had Trucker out, and Jeff's like, done. Flipped over.
I knew
Like,
that
boom,
one.
got it. All right. This is a tougher one.
No,
All right, we all know Vital Lacerda.
Yep.
I do.
What was his second design? Now, I'll give you a clue. His first design was Vinos. What was his second design?
You know?
No idea.
I'll say this, both of you know it.
I could guess.
You both know it.
All right. I didn't write it down,
Hold
but
on.
I got
Let me think. Okay. I wrote something down.
You got something? All right, Natalie. No, go ahead, change it. It's all right, change it. You got a
no,
couple
I'm leaving it.
seconds.
I'm
You're leaving
leaving
it?
it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
All right, Jeff, start with you. What do you think it is?
I put Lisboa.
All right, Natalie, what about you?
I put the gallery.
Dang it, that's what I was going to change it to.
No, it's CO2.
What?
Yep.
Oh, because he had CO2
oh.
and then the second edition came out later.
Oh, that's the second edition.
Yep, that was my trick.
I even
Trick
thought
one,
that. I was like, well, it's not
That was
that
my
because
trick
that's
one.
new.
So what was his third one?
His third one
So we got that wrong.
was Kanban.
Oh, Kanban.
Yep, and
Okay.
then the Gallerist, and then Lisboa, and then
We should have got that hint when he's like,
Escape
you
Plan.
both know
Escape
it, and we
Plan.
played it together.
Yeah.
yeah, that was what I was
Big
trying.
Limit.
Yeah. Okay, which came first? Which means which was published first? Trajan or Keyflower? Which one was published first?
How am I supposed to know these?
We got a 50-50 shot at this.
That's true.
So if we write down different
you might
ones,
know.
one of us will at least get a point. Maybe we should do that.
That's true.
How will you know? Yes. Which came
Trajan
first,
or
the
key
Trajan or the key? Yep. Age-old question.
All right.
All right, Natalie, what do you got?
I want to go with Trajan.
Jeff, what did you
I
write
said
down?
Keyflower.
It's Trajan.
Dang. Good.
Trajan,
Nice.
Trajan was published in 2011, Keyflower 2012.
Ooh,
So it
okay.
was super close. So
Yeah.
is that 2-1?
2-1.
All right, here we go.
Nangus.
How many players, and don't look at the games, how many players can Caverna play?
Okay.
over
Okay.
there.
I got it, I think.
You think you got it?
Yeah.
Jeff,
How
what
many
do you
times
think?
you
You want?
played
You want?
Caverna?
Well, wait, Jeff. Jeff.
I got it.
Oh, you do?
I wrote down 5.
Okay.
5.
7.
What?
Are you serious?
What? plays Caverna with 7 people?
It's 1 to 7.
No way.
Yeah. Look at
I'd
the box.
never
Look at
guess
the
that.
box.
When we
want
played
it.
Isn't
with
that crazy?
When we played with Tom Vassell, I thought we played with the max.
No, he said I won't play with any more than 5.
Yeah, who would play that game with 7? That seems
It's
like it would take a weekend.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Wow.
yeah. That's so dumb. But that's what Uwe Rosenberg does that a lot of times. He'll design games that can be played with more than.
Are we doing
the
worse than
normal.
you would have thought? Because
Just a tad.
Yeah,
what do you-
Jeff has
you're-
1 out of 6. I have 2 out of 6.
Maybe these were. I guess these were just too hard. I thought these were.
no,
gonna be a little easier.
maybe we're just.
I'm kind of glad
smart.
that
no.
it seems like Jeff.
that I'm not like crushing.
More, yeah, I was
good.
like,
Yeah, me
if this
losing
was
by
Ryan,
1. If you get the last
you would
3
be getting
right,
all of these right.
Yeah.
Well, I made them up. Some of you guys. would
Maybe
come up
next
with
time
ones
we
that I
make
would-
up a game for Ryan.
Yes.
to play.
I don't like that. That makes me.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
We'll make a game.
You are not invited back. No, I'm just kidding. All right, here we go. No, of course you are.
I'm just kidding.
All right, here is number 6.
7.
7. Yeah, 7. All right. Mansions of Madness, Arkham Horror, Elder Sign, Eldritch Horror. All these games are in the same universe. Okay, the Cthulhu kind of universe. Who's the
Damn. Me too. As soon as he said Cthulhu, I was like, oh, that's what I was
who
going
is
to
the
say.
author
Oh.
of the books that this universe is
should know
created for? You should.
The author.
You should know it.
Yeah, we should know it.
I think you'll know it.
We should.
Yeah, we should know
I think
it.
you should know it.
Who is the author of the books?
That this universe, this guy created the universe. This universe. It's called the universe. The blankian universe.
It is, and it's something that clearly I'm not going to remember.
I'll give you a
Pressure.
little bit of time.
Blank
Give me a
Blankian
second.
universe?
It's a
Does
name.
it have Ian at the
No,
top?
just pick a name.
At the-
Right, just right.
and not Reiner Knizia.
Oh, is it like a design?
He's not a designer. He's
Okay.
an author of this. So he wrote
Are you
these
sure
books.
I would ever know this?
I think
You
so.
would. I think,
you should know it.
I should know it too, and I'm not.
You know what it might be when I reveal it, or if Jeff gets it, and then I think you might be like, "Well, I've heard that before, but I've never in a million years would have guessed it." Maybe that.
Yeah.
But I think you've at least.
All
I
right.
thought maybe you would have known it.
I should know it. Oh, I'm a nervous wreck.
All
All right. Let me
I
give you a
just-
clue. Let me give you a clue. Computers is my clue. That's my clue.
That is not a good clue.
Well, it might be.
Computers.
Computers. Yeah. That's
Oh,
my
man.
clue. Do you guys give up?
I mean, I can guess, but it's going to be wrong.
I want to hear you guess.
I got like 2 guesses.
All right, let's hear them.
No, I'm embarrassed now. Well, 1, you said author, so I thought like Tolkien.
Okay.
2, you said computer, so I was like, maybe his name's Dell or something.
No, but you were on the right
yeah.
track.
Oh, I know it.
Should we give it to him? We're going to give it to him. What is it, Jeff?
H.P. Lovecraft.
H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, HP.
Lovecraftian
Have you heard
universe.
Have you heard that?
Yeah, I've heard
Okay.
of it.
But you never in a million years
Yep,
would have got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All
Thanks for giving me the Dell hint. Thanks for pushing me in the Dell direction.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
welcome.
yeah.
All right.
That was my
All right,
computer.
2 to 2.
Yeah.
2 to 2. Ooh, it's heating up. Got 3 left. Name. All right, you guys have 5 seconds for this one. I'm gonna count down
Oh,
from
that's
5.
nothing.
Yeah,
Don't
right.
make us write
it's
3
nothing.
games.
Nope. Name one game. Name a game that the way you win is not victory points. 5, 4, 3,
Wait, it started?
2, 1. I'll give you 3 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I don't think she wrote it.
Did you write anything?
When you were, I got, yeah.
Jeff, what did you got?
I got nervous.
Well,
when you were counting down, I
don't
thought you were
know.
counting
I
down
wrote-
to like start.
I wrote Rajas of the Ganges because you cross each other, but I guess they're prestige points and money.
I think that.
But I don't know if that counts.
I think that counts
I don't know if that falls into
because prestige points aren't victory points. Money's not victory points, and you only win.
you don't need the most of either of them.
You only win. We'll give it to you.
I don't know, half
We'll give
a
it to you.
point.
Natalie, what did you get? You write anything down?
Yeah, I did. I don't even know if it's right because I can't remember.
Oh, I have a way better answer.
But I put CO2.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just
right.
know it's cooperative, and I
Istanbul's
don't
a good
remember
answer.
like.
Yep, Istanbul would have been
Istanbul
good.
would have been a good
Needing
one.
points to
Pandemic,
win.
any pretty much a lot of most cooperative games like Letter from Whitechapel.
Yeah.
would have been a good one.
That's
So
true.
does
Or
that count?
Dead of Winter.
Ooh, Dead of
Oh
Winter.
yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
shit, Jeff just
Man.
talked about that. He's gonna write Dead of Winter. Yeah, you both get it.
It's hard under pressure.
You both get that.
That was a freebie.
It is
for us.
hard
Yeah.
under.
That's okay.
He
All right,
gave us
look a little better.
double the amount.
Here's a
Yeah.
tough one, I think, but you might get this, you guys. What was the name of the game that we demoed at Gen Con with the marbles and the light up backlit thing? What was the name of
the
that game?
name?
Boom.
I know it.
Boom, he knows it. Oh. I remembered it and I was like, I'll bet that's going to be hard. But I was wrong.
I remembered that one.
You just did.
I remembered it.
Sorry.
You remember H.P. Lovecraft right away. I remembered that. The game that isn't even released. And
That we played for like 10 minutes. Yep. All right, here's my one clue for you.
Okay. No,
think about the
don't
theme of the
give me a
game.
Yes.
clue.
Think about the theme of the
That
game.
was my
Yeah.
clue. That was going to be my clue. Think about the theme of the game. That's all I'm going to
Yeah.
help you with.
I know the theme. I remember the game.
Just think about it like a skosh longer.
Yeah, one scotch. If you need two scotches.
Yeah, I'll give you a couple scotches.
Yeah, just a couple scotches.
How many scotches do you
I
want?
don't. None.
Jeff, what do you think?
It's called Galaxies, isn't it?
Galaxies.
Oh.
Galaxies.
I was like space marbles. I don't know.
Yeah, Spaceballs.
I knew it had space.
I think at some point you need to talk about monikers, the way you're texting me the other night. So maybe
Oh my
after this needs to happen. But all right, let's finish. We have 2 questions left. Or one
No, we have
question
one
left?
left.
So
And Jeff's
Jeff
up
got
Jeff's up
that.
now, I think.
Yes, Jeff has 4. I have 3.
Oh, boy.
All right, so here we go. This one I'm not going to give any additional time.
No, you shouldn't. You
Because
shouldn't.
technically Jeff
It's not
probably would
fair.
have beat you on
Yeah.
that one. All right,
That's
so
right.
I'm going to give you 20 seconds for this one.
Ooh,
this
okay.
is tough.
Oh man.
Name 5 games set in space.
Okay.
20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7,
Okay. Okay.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll give you the last 3, 2.
Oh, God. I
Okay,
don't know.
3. That's
I
fine.
didn't fully write most of the words
Oh man.
because I was like, this
Yeah.
is taking too long.
Well,
so I like
have 'em.
abbreviate.
If you have them in your head, just
Yeah.
say. All right,
Yeah.
so now what do we got?
Okay, I got Galaxy Trucker.
That counts.
What does count?
What? Do you not want it to? Do you want Jeff to win?
I didn't know what you said. I'm so nervous.
That counts.
I've never actually played that, so I was like, I'm pretty sure
It
that's
is.
space.
Yeah, the first word is galaxy. It better be
Okay,
space.
Galaxy Trucker, Cosmic Encounter,
Sure.
Terraforming Mars,
Yep.
On Mars,
Got it.
and Chaosmos.
Yeah.
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 Right?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Jeff, what do you
I
got?
had Galaxy Trucker.
Uh-huh.
I wrote Tapestry because you told me that something happens in space.
You can. It's not set
It's
in
not
space,
set in
but you
space,
can,
it's only
you
wrong.
can go to
I wrote
space.
Star Wars Destiny.
Yep.
Star Wars Rebellion and Cosmic Encounter.
So, I think Tapestry
I would give it-
doesn't
I would give it
count.
to Natalie.
So we have a tie score
Tie.
here. Now, I did not come up with a tiebreaker
Uh-oh.
because I think we're tied up. So here's what we're gonna do. Fight to the death.
Share the victory.
Fight to the
You're
death.
right.
Fight to the. No, in the event of a tie, the person who gave the thing, so I win.
Yeah.
Oh, is that how it
Because
works?
we all are so
Yeah.
happy together.
Good job, Natalie.
Man, the listeners are not going to
job.
be happy with this. We got to come up with some sort of tiebreaker. Okay. So before, I might come up with one, but at some point while we're talking about the top 5. But there's one would you rather that I forgot about
yeah.
last week.
Oh,
I want to
right,
ask you
right.
guys.
Oh boy.
So I went through and I did 10.
I feel like there's something in space that was so obvious that I forgot.
Yeah, I wonder
Because Chaosmos was like my
Alien
last
Frontiers.
minute. Oh,
That-
Aliens, that's the one.
Ryan
Alien
would have wrote that one
Frontiers.
down for
Yep.
sure.
Gaia Project.
Oh, yeah.
Twilight Struggle.
You got that new
Twilight
Space
Imperium.
Corps game.
Space. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Space Corp.
I didn't have enough
Corp.
time to look around. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was cool. All right, so the one would you rather that we didn't do last time was, would you rather always have to pee a little bit, like you always feel like you have to pee just a
Okay.
little, or would you rather always feel like you kind of have to sneeze?
Do I actually have to pee or have to sneeze?
No.
Or I just won't ever, like I won't
It's just
know
that
when
feeling.
Forever, you're just always going to kind of always feel that way, like you always permanently feel like you kind of have to sneeze, or you always permanently feel like you kind of have to pee.
I think peeing. I think I would rather have to pee.
That's what Natalie said.
Yep.
I think.
I would rather not have to feel like I have to sneeze.
When I feel like I have to sneeze, it
was
like
like the
stops
worst
me
way
from
to say
doing
that.
things.
yes,
it stops
yeah,
you.
that's
You
what I
really,
mean.
like, you
You're
can't
like
talk, you
paralyzed.
can't-
You stop
yeah.
everything and you just sit there like I'm about to sneeze.
Yeah.
And then you
I don't
wait
like
for
that
it.
feeling.
Where I always feel like I have to pee.
But I feel it. You might pee your pants a lot more. Because you might be
true.
like, I don't actually have to pee.
I don't
and then
really
you're
have to.
peeing.
And then you're like, oh,
Right,
shit, I'm
right.
peeing.
Yeah.
Ah, crap.
I'm peeing.
You're a peeing.
But like that sneeze feeling.
Yeah,
it's just
that's
like
too bad.
in
I would
your
take.
face.
Yeah,
Ugh.
always got to
What
pee.
about you?
I don't know. I hate the feeling of kind of having to go to the bathroom.
Oh, I know.
cannot stand that feeling.
Yes.
But always
many
feeling like you have to
conversations have been
sneeze.
interrupted because he immediately has to stop talking the second he feels like he has to pee and leave the room.
Yeah, we'll be like, yeah. So if you could take this number and put, I have to pee.
We'll be like talking and he's just like, I'm sorry, I have to go. And then he just leaves. And I'm like, well, you couldn't even like hold it
Give me one
to like
second.
do this sentence.
Yeah, I know. I am who I am, and that's all that I am.
Well, now he's like,
You're marrying him.
Don't be mad at me,
Yeah.
but I really have to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, just go.
Yeah, I'll like
roll.
start standing up, and she's like, "Oh." All right, so that was our game. At some point, we're going to do tiebreaker.
All right.
It might be next episode. I don't know. So you might have to come back next
All right.
episode. All right, so here we go. We're going to launch into the Gamecasters plus special guest top 5.
Yeah.
And our top 5 this episode is our top 5 games of the last 3 years. Catch you on the flip. All right, so we're back in our top 5 games over the last 3 years. And when I say that, I mean 2017, 18, and 19. So I thought about doing, since 2019 is not over yet, I thought about, should we do 2016, 17, and 18 and not include 19? But then I did the advanced search tool thing on Board Game Geek, and I pulled up games from 2017, 18, and 19, and there's so many. I was like, we don't need to go back. So
It was tough enough as it was.
it was tough enough. So what we're going to do, we're going to do our top 5. Jeff, do you have your top 5 games?
I do.
We're going to have you kick it off.
Okay.
What is number 5?
I need to preface some of this now.
Okay.
So this was difficult.
Yes.
I felt like 2017 had a massive amount of games
Yes.
that I really love. So I'm looking at my list. My first list, I had 15 games. I just went through games I have, and I was like, 15. There's my 15 that I love. So then narrowing it down from there was difficult.
Sure.
And so my number 5,
Okay.
which I think, no, let me go back. I got more to say. There's 2 games that are not on my list that I feel like with even one more play would be on that list.
Yeah.
So should I say those ones?
Sure.
So the 2 that are just off of that list because I've only played them once are Black Angel and Underwater Cities.
Sure.
Those are going to be on my top list.
Underwater Cities is one I had pegged for you.
Yeah, Underwater Cities is probably in my top 10 right now, maybe top 20.
Of all time.
But I
after
would
one
want
play.
to, after one play. So I'd want to play it again to
Yeah,
secure it
I have
in
a
these
couple
top
of
5.
those, too,
Because
on
some of
my
these
list.
top 5 are like my
were
favorite
not on my
games of
list.
all time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
in the
which
last
is
3
crazy.
years, yeah.
So that speaks to how many good
Yes,
games
there
there
were some
are.
good
yeah.
ones.
In
So
the
my
last
number
few
5,
years.
we
Yep.
talked about, we got to meet Elizabeth Hargrave at Gen Con, and I really think that Wingspan would not have been on my list about 2 months ago.
Sure.
But I've played it a few times since, and I played it with my students, and the more and more I play it, the better it gets.
Yeah, because when you and I played it, I wasn't sure how I wasn't sure how you felt.
Yeah, it was.
I was like,
kind of
it seemed
indifferent.
like you were just kind of like, oh, it was okay. It was okay.
Yeah, and then I've played it since with more people. I like the interaction. I like the power of the birds. I love that all the birds are different. Just the production quality of it's great. The
Yeah.
game is very, very
And
good.
I think they're working on expansions for, because all the birds
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
in the game are just North American birds.
Oh.
So they're going to be doing different regions of the world. I think that's when we asked Elizabeth at
Yeah,
Gen Con.
those
That's what she
European
had
birds
said.
are coming.
Yeah.
European birds.
You're
Yeah, and that's my
European.
only 2019 game on the list.
Nice.
It's
Nice.
Wingspan.
Natalie, you want to go next?
Yes.
What is your number 5?
My number 5, I only played it once, and so I was nervous to put it on the list, but I loved it so much. I don't know.
It's not Cloudspire.
Oh, no.
No.
It's Castel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
We played that at Grand Con. I had the best time playing it,
Yeah.
and I almost didn't put it on here because I only played it once, but that just tells you how much fun I had
Yeah.
playing that game. I loved it, and I had such a good
So
time.
good.
So I was
You gotta
like,
get
you know
that
what?
played.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah, it's sitting on the shelf, and I bought it because of you guys. So
It's great.
Yeah.
It's a great. That's another one that I'm so confident you're going to enjoy.
Okay.
Like
Good. I'm
I
excited
don't,
to play it.
Yeah, like there's some games I'm like, I don't know if Jeff would like that game. Honestly, when we started King's Dilemma, I was like, I don't know, he might not like this. And we did.
Sure.
But there's some games where I'm like, I just don't know. I'm pretty confident with Castell that you're going to enjoy that.
Yes.
Cool.
Great. And when was that published? 2018? Did
Well, you
not
didn't
write
tell me
that?
I had to know that.
I wasn't. You don't have to. I just wasn't sure if you did or not. I think it's. I think it's a 2018.
18, probably.
Yeah, I think it's 2018.
Yeah.
All right. My number 5, a game I've played twice that Jeff's played once, called Underwater Cities.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
That game, so I played it the first time. We played it. Remember that night that
Yep.
I was cooking that pork shoulder and I was up for 14 hours?
Yes.
So we played it then. And I remember both of us were either in a bad mood or we were
Yep.
like, I don't know what was going on.
I was.
And despite that,
Yeah.
it was like, okay, this is good. This is really
Yeah,
good.
I do remember.
But even after that first play, I was like, I wonder how good. Like, I'll bet you it's way better. Because we were like, both of us were just not happy.
Yeah, but I remember like going into that game, like being in a crabby mood, and in the middle of it, I was like, this is like turning my mood around because I am enjoying it so much.
And we played it again not too long after.
Yeah, pretty quickly after that.
And that was when it cemented for me. I was like, oh,
It's so good.
this is really fun. It gives me the same kind of feeling Terraforming Mars gives me. And you'll know that because you're getting that soon,
Yeah.
I think. So you'll probably agree. I think you'll agree with me more or less. It's definitely different. They're not like 1-to-1. But it's going to give you the same kind of feeling. Anyway, Underwater Cities by Vladimir Suki. Whoa, what a good game
Yeah,
this
it's a good
is.
one.
Even with the subpar components, it still looks beautiful. The artwork is super cool.
Yeah.
I really like the theme. The bubbles are sweet.
Yeah, I think the expansion is coming out soon, and they're upgrading. I think some of those.
That's right. That's what you said. Like the player.
Yeah, there might be
main
like
player
a
board.
display in the board, or you can put the different.
That would be cool.
Yeah, domes.
You can also get Geek Up bits.
Yes.
For the
Yeah.
resources. I don't know that I would need those.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, because I like them more for things you're handling, like Quacks of Quedlinburg or
Yeah.
Right.
Leon and stuff like that. So my number 5, Underwater Cities. Jeff, hit us with your number 4.
choice.
Oh, and Underwater Cities is the only 2019 on my list too.
Ooh, yeah.
So all right,
That's good. I should change mine. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So number 4, I slightly cheated. I have lumped 2 games into one. You
Okay.
probably know what they are.
That's all right.
Oh,
I
I
have
think I
thrown
know.
Chronicles of Crime and Detective into one super game.
Okay, so Detective was
You're
like
calling it so far.
If I was just gonna go, all right, one, I would have picked
Detective.
So if
Yeah.
you make me pick one, I'm picking Detective.
absolutely.
I love the VR in Chronicles, but I enjoy the
overall game.
Antari system in Detective
Yeah.
better for some reason. I love writing on the whiteboards with you guys. Like the experience of Detective is better.
It's like Gran Turismo versus Mario Kart. They're both super cool, right? One is more realistic,
Yeah.
Yes.
and the other one is more arcade style.
Yep.
Right. Gran Turismo is like you're actually driving.
Yeah, like Need for Speed.
Yeah,
or something
that's like
that.
the Detective, and Chronicles of Crime is more Mario.
It's
Kart.
awesome. I love trying to solve it. True crime is one of my other random hobbies of listening to podcasts and things like that with true crime.
Not committing.
No, correct.
committing true
not
crime.
committing-
True crime is one of my
yeah.
hobbies. What a crazy good hobby.
Yeah, what
that
were we
would
talking
be.
about? True crime or real crime?
Yeah, real crime.
We were-
that was going to
That was
be.
a long
Trying to figure
That
out
was going to be
wasn't
what. That was going to be the one of your questions today. Is it true crime or real crime?
So yeah, that's my number 4, Chronicles
Beautiful.
and Detective.
Loved it. What about you?
My number 4 is Coimbra,
Ooh,
a game that we've probably played at least 3 times.
we played it 4.
choice.
So we played
4
it. We played it
times?
once with Jeff when we first got it. We all were like,
Yes.
oh.
Yeah.
Then we played it again, and it was
Yes.
terrible for me because I did so bad.
Yep.
Played it again, just as bad for me. Played it again, I finally figured it out.
You got it. I figured it out.
Yeah,
it.
so say for all 4 times I loved it. And to play a game like that 4 times, I mean, that doesn't happen a lot.
Nope.
So it's a good game.
Beautiful game. Love that game. Okay, my number 4 is a game that's by Richard Breeze and the R&D, and it is Keyflow.
Ooh.
Keyflow came out last year in 2018 and swept me off my feet. I love this game. This game is so good. It does for me. It gives me the Keyflower feeling, even though it takes the auction out of it, which is like the coolest thing of Keyflower. Yeah. It has this card draft now, and it just felt refreshing. You got to play it still. I don't think you've played it yet.
I have not.
And
You haven't?
Keyflower is one of
No,
his
and I
favorite
love
games
He
of all time.
loves Keyflow.
And it's
is good.
I love it. It's very quick. It's very fun, and it's one of those games like Seven Wonders where you can play it with 4 or with 7 or 8, and it's just as fast. You know, it's like one of those kinds of games because you're just card drafting and playing it down. So there's no added time with more people. It's very good. My number 4,
good.
Keyflow. Jeff, hit us with number 3.
Number three. It came up a little bit earlier.
Coimbra.
It's no.
Oh,
James Wilson and Starling Games.
Oh, Everdell.
Oh.
Okay. This was. Oh, I should have known this. Oh.
Everdell is the only game on my list that I don't own.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And it's so good. The art's beautiful. The game is great. I love the you're building your own little
Tableau.
forest of tableau of little creatures and buildings. It's my favorite card drafting. I guess it would be card drafting or card. It's not draft. Is it drafting really?
Not
or,
real. I mean,
it's,
you're not like passing them around.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you're selecting them. And,
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, so it's-
putting them in your.
I think it's great, and then it just looks beautiful on the table.
Yes,
the
it
Pearl
does.
Work expansion's cool. It adds another resource and more ability.
And you said
more
you'd never
buildings and
play
things
without
like
it.
that.
I
don't think I would play with that. I don't think there's a reason to play without it. It doesn't really increase the time because you're still going through the 4 seasons. So there's nothing additional. Like you have to do something else. You can get more resources and there's more cards to gather. So
Plus, it looks
Awesome.
sweet.
it looks
Yeah.
great.
And I'm real excited for the spires and
Yeah.
Yeah, there's already
whatever it's
another
called.
one.
Yeah, I'm backing it.
Are you?
Yeah. First time I've backed. We keep buying the Everdell stuff at Gen Con, and I'm like, this time I'm going to actually back it.
That was the game upstairs I said should be on your list
Oh.
because I know how much you like that game.
Yep.
And you've
Yeah.
invested in that game a lot.
So that's what he was.
But that was upstairs
When
where
you
I
were
was
like, one play.
Yeah, you were like one play. I thought it was going to be Everdell, but
Yeah, I didn't put Everdell, and I thought about it, but only because I've only played it once, and we've been wanting to play it so bad, and the one time we played it was like a year ago.
It was a long time ago.
And so I just felt like it wasn't fresh in my mind enough to put it on the list,
remember,
but it was on there.
Well, what is your number 3, Natalie?
My number 3 is Underwater Cities.
yeah.
Yeah. Nice. We've
Repeat.
now all hit the underwater cities. Jeff was
I
honorable
should have
mention.
put it on the thing. I know.
Was
Yes.
well, you won't play it
Yeah.
once.
It's so good. I will.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
played
that's
it a
true.
couple
You played it
times.
twice.
If I had just
and
played that first time, I
loved
wouldn't have put it on.
both times. Yeah.
Yeah, super great. It just got better
Great
the
game.
second time. And I know it's one of those games you want to play more often because it's going to reward you because you're going to get better at it.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
one of those
You know?
games that's kind of always in my head. Like, I'll play that again anytime.
Sure.
Like, I want to play it again soon.
Completely agree.
Agreed. My number 3 is a little 2-player only game that Natalie and I just love together. Everywhere we go, we play this game. It's called Codenames
I
Duet.
knew it.
Oh my gosh, what a cool game this is. I mean, we love Codenames. We first got Codenames at Gen Con 2015.
Yeah.
And that, everybody knows Codenames now. That is a household name. That game just blew everybody away. And the duet version, I don't know, I might like it better.
It's so great.
It might
I
be
know.
more fun. It's so good with 2 players. It's really, really challenging. We rarely
yeah,
win.
It's tough.
It's not like, you have to really work at it to succeed.
I don't think we've ever played and won on the first try.
It's got a really cool, I love green. And so the whole game has got this green palette and it's just very fun. And that's my number 3. Jeff, let's hear your number
Good
2.
choice.
Number 2. This may show up on someone here's list.
I think I might know what it is.
Yeah, they got
Number 2 is Quacks of Quedlinburg. It's just so fun. It's frustratingly
So fun.
anger-inducing
Screaming
fun,
pillow.
and it is
Screaming
awesome.
pillow fun.
Yep.
And I got the Geek Bits for it, and I haven't played them with the Geek Bits yet, but
Yeah.
I'm super excited because just reaching into the bag and feeling those plastic bits. Is
We
gonna
even
make it
have the
better.
expansion Geek Bits and the expansion's not out.
Yeah,
Right?
they're just sitting on like a shelf.
We just know it's going to happen.
Yeah, so we got those at Gen Con.
So that's my 2, Natalie.
Fantastic
What's your number
game.
2?
Well, my number 2, this is kind of, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it.
It's you don't know. It's gotta,
I'm just going to go for it. It's Tapestry.
Wow, one
Yeah.
play.
number 2.
I know.
All the way to number 2.
I really liked it a lot.
Wow.
It's kind of like Castell where we just played it
How does
once,
that make you
but
feel? That's
it
gotta
was-
make you
I know.
excited.
I liked it so
I'm not even telling you my
much.
number 1. I'm going home and play it. See ya.
Bye.
I liked it so much that I would want to play it immediately. I could see us playing it a bunch with the amount of time it takes and the amount of fun we had. And there were so many other games that we played once that I had on here, but this one, I think it was the best. So that's my number 2.
That's crazy awesome. Good for you. Look at this controversy.
Yeah.
My number 2 is another game we've played twice, and this game I think was my number 1 game in the last top 5. What was our last top 5? No, Silly Fun was our last top 5. The top 5 before that, games that are impossible to pronounce. So my number 2 is Teotihuacan.
Teotihuacan.
Or as the board game snobs say it, Teotihuacan. No.
Teotihuacan.
Yeah, nobody knows how to pronounce it. I think it's Teotihuacan or Teotihuacan.
I think it's Teotihuacan.
Teotihuacan.
Yeah, I like Teotihuacan.
Sounds the best. So
It,
we're calling it
flows the
Teotihuacan.
best.
This game is so great. It's the spiritual successor to Zulkin the Mayan Calendar, which I always did like that game, but that game was a little smarter than me. It was too hard for me. That game was very challenging. every time I play it, I won it one time at Grand Con, if you remember that time we played together. And then every other time after that, it's just beaten me down into a bloody pulp. But I still recognize it's a fantastic game.
Yeah, I love
and you can
Tzolk'in.
see a lot of the similarities in just in design from that game into Teotihuacan. And Teotihuacan it just clicks with me. I get it, and it's amazing. And I cannot wait to play the expansion, which just came out at Gen Con. So I'm super pumped to play that. And that's my number 2, Teotihuacan.
Awesome.
So, Jeff, here we are.
Number 1.
What is your numero uno?
Natalie already said it's Coimbra.
Coimbra. I know, we stole your thunder.
No, it's totally good.
Sorry.
Coimbra is great. It's a beautiful looking
Great
game.
game.
I love the dice allocation. I love the dice drafting and you putting them in your castles, and that the numbers matter in one side and the colors matter later. The first time we played, the three of us, I was like,
Yep.
this
Write
is
it
so
down.
good.
What am I
and then
doing?
we played it, and I actually played it with my students. My students were
What?
like, let's
Oh,
play
really?
a game. And I was like, okay.
All
so I
right.
bought Coimbra, and they loved it. It was Some of them
Wow,
were like,
that's
this is one of my
cool.
favorite games I played, which was very cool, because
Wow.
it took longer because they were figuring it out and haven't played a game like that. And so Coimbra is my number 1.
Wow, that is a great game. That was a game. All right, like Natalie just beat me at Tapestry, and I want to play Tapestry again. But I'm not like I gotta figure this out. I gotta win. We played Coimbra twice. Natalie and I played it 3 times, like pretty much back to back to back.
Yeah.
The first 2 times she rolled me, and I was like, I can't rest until I figure this out. And that speaks to the design, I think. So we finally played it the 3rd time, and I felt like I just nailed it. And I was like, okay, finally. And it was like so satisfying to do the things that I did in that game. It just, everything works together very well in
Yeah,
Coimbra.
that's a good
Coimbra's
game.
fantastic. Natalie, what about you? What is your
My number 1 is Quacks of Quedlinburg.
I wonder why.
I know. Well, that game, it was tough for me to pick a number 1. It was tough for me to pick this whole list. I like so many of the games. But I picked Quacks because that game we've played 3 or 4 times, and I've loved it every single time, and I want to play it over and over and over again. It just is so much fun, and it's not the typical type of game that I like.
Yeah,
which
you don't
is cool.
like push your luck, typically.
Right, exactly. And so I don't know,
Ink and gold can't
it's kind
stop
of like
shape.
stands out because of that, I guess, for me.
Yeah,
It's great.
that's cool. Yeah, and like we got to play with the geek up
Yes.
Yeah.
the quack geek up
We
bits.
do.
So awesome. My number 1 is not Quacks of Quedlinburg. It's not Coimbra. Can anybody guess what it is?
Is it Star Wars Destiny?
It's Too
Oh,
Many Bones. Star Wars Destiny is 2016.
Oh, they just missed
Yep,
it.
so just-
Would that have been number 1?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Too Many Bones. I've talked about Too Many Bones a lot. This game, when it first came out, it was the first game I ever had by Chip Theory, and so I kickstarted it. Like I saw it on Kickstarter randomly, and back then I didn't really kickstart a ton of stuff. Like very rarely did I kickstart a game, but I saw this and I was like, oh, it's got little holes in this like mouse pad thing where you put dice on. I'm like, that looks pretty cool, and it uses poker chips. Like, that seems kind of interesting. So I just backed it, not really knowing anything about it, kind of thinking it might not be anything special, and it is something special to me. I think this game it's got everything I like. It's just so great. The only bad part about it is it takes a long time to play, a very long time. But like I talked about with Cloudspire last episode, this game will reward you if you put the time in to do it. There's some games where it's a huge time sink and you don't get that much out of it, and it's just kind of like, I don't want to invest all this time to do like a game like Munchkin. You'll play that game for like 4 hours and you're just beating down each other. There's not much there. But a game like Too Many Bones or Cloudspire, it's so good, and it hits everything. Kind of like Tapestry. It's got the gameplay, it's got the aesthetics, it's got the theme. It all comes together and creates a very great experience. So that's my number 1. Too Many Bones.
nice.
So that's the Gamecaster's top 5. You have
Can I
something
say
else
some,
you got going on here? Some honorable mentions?
I feel like I want to
Honorable
talk about some honorable mentions.
I have some honorable mentions too. if
because
you wanna-
we just played King's Dilemma and Vindication, and I really like both of those, but because we just played them once.
Yeah, you don't want to just...
I felt like I
Especially
didn't
King's
know the
shove it in there.
game that well. Yeah, those were awesome. I mean, Medium's awesome. Shobu's awesome. Pulsar, it has
That was close to mine.
Yeah.
I wanna
Was
play that.
Pulsar.
Pulsar and Terraforming Mars and Underwater Cities all feel like kind of
Similar. Yeah,
to me.
I agree.
I was like close to even putting like custom heroes on there because that
You love
game
that
is
game.
so
I
good.
know
That was really good.
That's a good game.
And Everdell, of course, and Sagrada. It was just it was a
Sagrada
tough
was
one.
I was surprised that wasn't on
Yeah,
your
that
list.
was that. I have a star next to it because that was almost. So I have like Chaosmos. I love.
Yeah.
That was
too.
2018.
That was my number 6.
Another Kane Klenko. Flip Ships is is so great.
Great.
I love photosynthesis. I know it's like just
Do you?
It's the accessibility
really
of the game. Like
pretty.
anybody can play that game.
Yeah.
And the rules are so simple.
Sure.
Rajas of the Ganges.
Yep.
Oh
or
yeah, I was surprised no one
Rajas
put
of the
that.
Rajas of the
Ganges.
Ganges.
Or
I'm surprised
something.
you didn't put that.
Rajas of the Ganja.
I even put just one on there for how much
did
fun
too.
just one is.
I almost
I
put
put
that on
just
it too.
one.
I was like, I don't know,
yeah,
a
or
party
Team
game.
3 or Media. Like there was a
Yeah.
lot of really good
Standouts.
quick party games too
Right.
that I feel like have been really great. And
I think what you guys picked was good though. I think
Yeah.
like hearing your honorable mentions, the only one for you that I was a little surprised that wasn't on there was Sagrada. But what was
Yeah.
your number 5?
Wingspan.
Wingspan. That was the only one.
And
all
that
the other ones I
Wingspan-
was like I had pegged.
That
for you.
Wingspan could have been Underwater Cities,
Yeah.
Ganges,
Right.
or Sagrada.
Yeah,
those
for
those,
sure.
Yeah,
those
you just had to
four. I
make a
was
call.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I had all the same honorable mentions as you
Yeah.
guys. Sagrada was on there. Wingspan was one.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many good games that have come out in the last couple of years.
Yeah, really good games.
And even for me, I thought this Gen Con was a little bit lesser so far. Anyway, I still think there's so many games that come out. There's a game for everybody.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
In every year that it comes out. So, well, Jeff, thanks for coming on today,
Thanks for
man.
having me.
We
It
had
was
a great
great.
time.
Yeah, it was awesome. I liked having a third.
Yeah,
man.
it was super cool. I got to come up with some sort of tiebreaker, though.
Oh, right.
What are we going to do about a tiebreaker? Should I come up with something like right now?
Next
so
time?
people,
Yeah.
or should we do it for next time? I mean,
Can you think that fast?
I probably could come up with. It sucks because I had 9 questions.
Yeah.
and I was like, I got to get to 10, and we played like a bunch of games, and then like right before, and I was like, I'm going to go like dry my hair, and I was like, okay, I got to come up with the 10th one. So I didn't have any like additional ones, but I could come up with one. Can you name
Oh gosh. Oh, we're playing.
3?
Okay, we're playing. What's
happening?
Get your paper out.
Here we go. We're doing a last minute tiebreaker.
Okay.
Can you name 3?
Write down 1, 2, 3. Get ahead of the game. 1, 2, 3.
Sorry.
No, that's what I just did. I thought because he counts so fast, I can't write all these things down. All right.
Right, that one isn't ready to.
You're in your head.
Can you write? Or can you think of 2? I'll say 2. Can you think of 2
Oh,
games?
now he changes it.
Sorry, 2 games that started as one name and became another name.
Think of one game.
I was going to give you 3, but I think 2 is probably a little easier.
Oh, okay. Well, I got one right off the bat.
5.
Are you serious?
Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7.
I got 2.
6. You do?
I do.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We'll say the one we both have.
Oh,
Okay,
'cause we both have-
Chaosmos,
yeah, we both have
Cosmic
Chaosmos.
Encounter.
right, Chaosmos.
Which
Okay.
is now Cosmic Factory.
I
Stupid,
think Cosmic
stupid,
Yeah.
stupid. I think
Cosmic.
even Kane Klenko thinks that's stupid.
He does. I asked him
Right.
at Gen Con.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I said, "Do you like the name change?" He said, "No."
Was it because that other game that was called
I think so. I
Chaosmos?
think that's kind of what he hinted at, but he definitely
didn't
liked
actually
Chaosmos
say.
a lot better.
It's because it's way better.
It is
Yeah.
better.
There was a Chaosmos with a CHAOSMOS.
Yeah.
And I think that, I'm guessing
Because of
that's
that?
why.
It's not even spelled the same.
I know, but all right. So you didn't come up with the second one?
No.
Jeff, did you get a second one?
I think you played it. I do.
What is it?
Rampage turned into Terror and Meeple.
Terror
City.
and Meeple
I
City.
knew that.
That's
I
right.
knew that.
That's
Yeah.
right. Are there more? I was going to give you 3, and I was
don't
like,
know.
maybe 3
You're
is
like,
too
I can't
many.
even think of
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even think of any. I just knew that Chaos. Honestly, it was from Chaosmos.
I don't know.
Yeah, Chaosmos. I knew the Rampage one.
I'm sure
I just couldn't
there
think of it.
are. Well, I guess Las Vegas turned into Las Vegas Royale. If you could do that.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? There's like games like that
Well-
have done it. So
There's a winner.
Jeff has
man.
succeeded,
Trivia winner.
taken down the
Natalie,
It's okay.
Natalie let me win.
I'm
Tangly,
okay.
tangly.
I'm okay without how it shook out.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
we started
okay
very
losing
poor,
to a
and then-
tiebreaker. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be okay if I had like 1 and you had like 9.
Yeah, we were very evenly matched.
Yes.
You did great. You guys did fantastic. Well, that's going to do it for episode 25. Join us next time. We'll be here again in 2 weeks. And for episode 26, there may be a half episode in between because I think we're going to be doing the interview with Meeple People at some point. I'm not sure if that's going to happen before or after the next episode. We also have a couple more interviews in the works, which I haven't even told you about yet, I don't think.
cool.
So we will, you'll just know because what you need to do, if you don't already, is subscribe to us wherever you subscribe to podcasts. We host it on Podbean, but you can find us anywhere like iTunes or Spotify or Google or Spreaker or any different kind, any kind of place that you can subscribe to podcasts, please subscribe to us. It would be even fantastic if you listened and you liked us and you could leave a little review. That would be so nice. And then if you have any questions, you can always email us at thegamecasterspodcast@gmail.com. So until next time, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Natalie.
And I'm Jeff.
And we are the Gamecasters. Hey, you're a Gamecaster now. How do you feel?
Honorary Gamecasters.
Yeah. All right. See you next time, guys. Bye.